Powerful Horse Racing Methods. This is me taking a look at a full day's racing today, and you can find me at www.horseracingadvisor.co.uk. Follow the links, and once I've got enough people following, I will do a free trial for everybody, so just come in and get on the waiting list. We'll make some money over a week, and then hopefully I'll use some of that to give me a little payback and subscribe. So 3 minutes away from the first race at Chepstow, 125 at Chepstow. I'm just going to have a look through the card. There's a lot of small fields today, so it's going to be hot on favourites, which we don't like and want. We're always backing against favourites. We don't want to be playing that game to gain 6 points over a day just backing favourites. But I will put a favourite in if it does come into any of my codes, methods. And I'm going to play every method today, but I'm going to talk you through each method, and so you're going to realise that which are the two most powerful methods that you can follow for the guaranteed profits, guaranteed weekly profits. Not every day is in profit, but majoritively they are. And so 2 minutes away from the first race, I'll just take a look at that. And straight away the favourite is signalled. Now most favourites are signalled anyway. So I'm just going to find it each way steal against it, or even a horse that's going to follow home that favourite for the forecast. I wouldn't advise anybody to do the forecasts until you're really proficient at understanding how this method works. Straight away I've got a signal, each way signal for Henry Box Brown to follow the Big Blue Moon home, and a potential each way steal on that, but I'm not going to put that in the selections. Jaunty Vikings an improver on handicap, but this is, oh, it is a handicap. Potential reverse gamble in Ring the Moon and Loudspeaker, so I'm going to put those in as a bet to nothing. If it doesn't happen, and we'll always recover later, but if we don't put them in and they go in surprise, then we're kicking ourselves in the face. Now, so don't worry, it's like a big amount. Oh, I've missed inputting as I have with 1,000 points over time since I've been doing this. So yeah, Ring the Moon, and it would be Loudspeaker and Ring the Moon, 5k each way each. But with it being, well, it is a handicap, so yeah, that's fine. That would have gone in, but it hasn't gone in, so already kicking myself in the teeth. If at either of those places, there's late money, as you can see, for both, which still brings them into the reverse gamble method. No, Ring the Moon is no longer reverse gamble. The only reverse gamble is the outside of the Loudspeaker, so that would be the only one going in. But let's just listen to this race and see how it goes. No doubt the favourite and Henry Box Brown should be the one chasing him home.
Is Henry Box Brown as they head down the far side and approaching the first down there, and out in front it remains Ring the Moon. Ring the Moon out in front. Pops over that one in company with Jaunty Viking. These two going toe-to-toe, and Jaunty Viking just edging ahead. Working back then to find Karakorum alongside Loudspeaker. Big jump there from Jaunty Viking. Jaunty Viking and Ring the Moon. Further back to find the favourite, who is making some headway to the outside. Just flick through the top of that one, Big Blue Moon. Currently in a line with Karakorum and Loudspeaker, and then to the inside, Brown Bullet. And the one who's at the back of the pack and just needing a little bit of coaching is Henry Box Brown. Out in front, Jaunty Viking. Over the next, Jaunty Viking to the inside, Ring the Moon, just being niggled along the back of that hurdle. Big Blue Moon has made pretty steady headway to the outside, lobbing along in the hands of Cameron Isles, and working further back then we find Loudspeaker. To the inside, Brown Bullet. Karakorum's just lost a few positions and is about to be relegated to the back of the pack as Henry Box Brown starts to make a little bit of headway as they begin the long sweep for home over at Chepstow. And to the inside, Ring the Moon continues this duel with Jaunty Viking. They've gone at it hammer and tong from the get-go. To the inside, Brown Bullet making headway in behind runners. Widest of all is Big Blue Moon as the cream starts to rise to the top. Further back to find Loudspeaker, who's just coming under the pump a little. And at the back of the pack, a little bit of a gap then to Henry Box Brown, who's now off the bridle, and Karakorum, who's been struggling for a couple of furlongs now. Out in front, Ring the Moon to the inside. To the outside, it is Jaunty Viking. Tucked in behind runners, Brown Bullet, and widest of all, Big Blue Moon comes there travelling well. The other trio off the bridle, that's Loudspeaker, and then Henry Box Brown, who's making some laboured headway. Karakorum still at the back of the pack as they set sail for home here at Chepstow in the opener. And out in front, it is Ring the Moon. Off in pursuit is Brown Bullet. Jaunty Viking's weakening, and to the outside, Big Blue Moon's just been slightly tapped for toe for a stride or two as Ring the Moon tries to stretch them out here. Brown Bullet now coming off the bridle, and the whip is drawn on Big Blue Moon back in third. Ring the Moon with the advantage. In second spot, Brown Bullet, who's now firmly under the pump. Big Blue Moon is staying on to good effect for Cameron Isles' urgings, but made a hash of that one. And out in front, it's still Ring the Moon. Ring the Moon from Brown Bullet. Big Blue Moon is getting there to the outside, taking a little bit of organising as they move down towards the last. Ring the Moon with the advantage. Big Blue Moon is the danger to the outside. Brown Bullet third, and you can forget the rest. So they come down towards the last. Ring the Moon, pressed by Big Blue Moon. Over the last, and it's Ring the Moon who's more fluent, pecked on landing. Then Big Blue Moon, who can't get out of his own way at present, still out in front. It is Ring the Moon. Ring the Moon from Big Blue Moon. To the line they go. Ring the Moon needs the line, and it comes in time. Ring the Moon gets the better of Big Blue Moon, and they pulled quite a long way clear of Brown Bullet.
It's just typical of how it goes with this inputting into Racing Index. And Ring the Moon, the signalled reverse gamble, wins the first. Turns over the favourite. There you go, 33-1. Another 33 points that I haven't got in to. And this has happened many times over the last few days. There's been some really big gambles, reverse gambles. Now you guys are going to think, what the heck is he talking about with these reverse gambles? Well, I don't want to show too much of what took 27 years of market analysis. But it's happened straight away. I just knew it. Two horse race in the next, and I won't be doing that. So the last couple of days, as soon as I turn my head, in comes a gold gamble at 16-1, and reverse gamble wins the first. And this is how it goes. It's too early to check the market on the 2 o'clock. But yeah, let's try and. Well, I said today I'm not going to make any mistakes, and just because I'm trying to talk you through while I'm inputting these at the same time, I'm not really used to that. But that's how it's the world's most powerful horse racing method, and that's how it beats any type of investment, any shares, commodities, markets, any business. And there you go. There's your. So it wouldn't be in a 33-to-1 winner because we were backing 2 horses each way there, the 2 outsiders. So it's 32 times your profit. Well, not just that, because it's each way. So what we're getting, about 40-to-1, 40 times your money straight away that I've missed. And this is why I've now started recording for YouTube, just to prove the ones that I do miss. And because through the Racing Index I am actually showing a loss, I think a massive loss, and this is the reason. As well, I've got a life around racing. I can't be doing 9 hours racing each and every day, but what I can do is go to the end of racing, but only I know, and I can show that. Well, I can't show because I can't give the method away, but I know that when I've made big losses by not following the markets and trading that day, but I can look at the end of the racing and see which horses hit my codes, and you just have to believe me on that. But this is why I'm recording now, so you don't have to believe that. You saw that I was about to get Ring the Moon in. If I don't input that by the 1:25 time, it just gets rejected. So right, I'll come back for 2 o'clock. I'll stop the video right now. And we'll talk about some things that you might just have been, you will recognize, because the whole industry teaches you the wrong way to follow the markets. And I'm about to turn that over with a little help from my friends. Right guys, I'm a minute to the off. I've just been out and possibly going to miss this one. Check what kind of race it is. Novice hurdle. Favourite is good. Donald McCain. Oakley Dancer is strong each way, but it's not in one of the codes. I'm not going to put in the strong selections today. I'm going to stick to gambles, fixers and reverse gambles, thus eliminating lots of what you guys don't like to do, is cover bets. Money for miss getting the view as well, each way. And the ones I would have put in here, money for Hartill too. So it's more open than it suggests with a hot favourite. Yeah, we don't want some away in non-handicap, so yeah, we just let this go by. But yeah, the 3 main protagonists against the favourite are, there's too many anyway. Prices aren't there really to, if the favourite wins, it's probably going to be a loss. If we were to play the 3 strong ones, either could be following the favourite home. Oakley Dancer, Miss Get the Venue and Hartill, which has just weakened on the live prices. So we'll look towards the next race. 205 at Cork. Maiden Hurdle, hot favourite. There's nothing seriously strong against that favourite. I'll leave this one too. See if we can get an each way steal. Live money, as you can see, 66.40, 30 to 1 for Junot. But it doesn't come into the reckoning on my system, so that's too much of a gamble. Check if there's any potential reverse gambles. A little bit slow today, I'm very tired. Yeah, so this kind of race, we'll wait a couple of minutes, see last live shows, but potentially I'm not going to put it in because it's only strong. It'll probably get fourth if I do put it in. Wasted money. So this horse here, I can't even pronounce it. De Glawalantor. De Glawalantor. Maybe the Irish can say that a little bit better, and I'm sure in the commentary you will say it better and show the true pronunciation. But yeah, so that's a possibility at 70 to 1 to steal some each way money. The 5 horse. I'll let this. Let's see what the experts say on this one. They are very good, and this is where I'm getting to just show you that if you follow these William Hill guys, they are very good and really try at being the best pundits that they can be, and you don't need to subscribe to any tipsters, apart from the guy that made 70 grand from a £100 double. He's very good, we'll talk about him later. At Cheltenham, beating my 33 to 1 single, the best bet that I had, Cider Burley. It was in the gold gamble system at Cheltenham. That's the best I could do. Beating Andy Tipster, which had a really crap Cheltenham. It made 14 points over the 4 days. 14 times your money. Still a profit. Well done, lad. Yeah, so there's no signal now for the 5 horse. So this is how late live shows are coming to try and scupper my method. So it's just now hit. Now we would be able to get on the bets, and we might be forced to take a win bet, or somebody might take the bet on Betfair's markets, but my method works either way. I mean, you can just put in win bets if you're forced to, and you can have that for a couple of furlongs before they close down the market. So yeah, so this is how I read the race. I think the favourite's going to win there. Luminous Light probably follow him home. Reverse gamble for Carslake on the off might be the value horse. One of these value horses is going to trot into third for sure. So let's listen to that race and I'll get set up for the next one.
Snappiest and Calico. I'm not totally reliant on Luminous Light, because it doesn't give the jockey much assistance. So I thought that was the weakest link of the front three. So yeah, Snappiest with the yard now in good form, or reasonable, better form than it was anyway a few months back.
16 to 5, third in the betting over at Cork. Last call for bets then. Well, it's 205, Calico 5 to 6, 5 to 2 Luminous Light.
Right, we're not going to play this, but if anyone had a spare £4 to make an easy grand, it would be forcing bull. It is a hurdle, so there's a chance. I mean, we don't play things like this. That's ridiculous. It can always fall, and which Mr. Hailstone is quite heavily backed to pick up the prize money if it does fall. 2 reverse gambles don't interest me in a 1 reverse gamble. Maybe because it's unraced and maybe he's aimed the horse at winning this as a surprise. For Miss Blennerhast, so that is in my system. So maybe that will follow the favourite home. If the favourite falls, maybe it'll beat it. Yeah, so that would be a bet to nothing for us. That comes in my system. Miss Blennerhast. For Mike Sowerby, let's just look at his previous form. Pulled up. Trainer's not in any form, so no, I wouldn't take the risk. Let's listen to this race.
We have the blue and white striped jacket of Luminous Light, who's just tracking the early pace, racing in a first-time hood today. Just in behind these, the green and white of Monty's Rock, who's followed on the inside by Gabby's Girl, and then further back to Juno, yellow and green jacket, with up on that one's outside as they prepare to swing in Western Model. Back marker in these early stages is Brush Roscoe, Carlton Gardens, one from last, and Chilled Out is also towards the rear. Pace is a very steady one as they now face up to the first of 9 flights of hurdles, with Snappiest on the outside of Calico as they arrive at flight number 1, with over on the inside, still in a prominent pitch, is Venga Boy, and just in behind these then we have the likes of Luminous Light and Cars Lake as they take the second, where Luminous Light just grabbed at it and Brush Roscoe wasn't too fluent in rear. About 8 lengths first to last as they come on to the next. This will be the last in the circuit's time. And Calico is a definite leader there. Moving on now under Sam Ewing into an advantage of about 2 lengths. Calico it is then, who will lead them up past the judge first time from Venga Boy, Snappiest, and then towards the inside Luminous Light, who races in company with Cars Lake. After these we have Monty's Rock, who's on the outside of Gabby's Girl, with in between horses Juno, and a little bit wider on the track then is Western Model as they go into the turn, which will bring them across to the far side. The Galway Gallivanter is towards the inside, and they're followed by the check jacket of Carlton Gardens, then Chilled Out, and the back marker remains Brush Roscoe. Continuing on this journey across to the back straight, good long run before they get to the first of 3 in a line down there. And it's Calico getting to utter experience to good use today, leading by about a half a length to up on the outside Venga Boy. Snappiest just in behind them, and then Luminous Light with Cars Lake right in amongst them in 5th position. A few lengths back then to Monty's Rock and then Gabby's Girl as they set their sights on flight number 4, with Venga Boy up on the outside of Calico as they rise at this one. Calico touching down just in front. Juno wasn't all that fluent, and neither in rear was Brush Roscoe. The middle one down the back now. This is number 5 of the 9 in all. And it's Venga Boy, who was a definite leader that time, just stepped at it a touch, but landed about a length clear from Calico, Snappiest, and then Cars Lake, and on the inside, Luminous Light. A couple of lengths back to Monty's Rock as they take the final one down the back, where Venga Boy led once more. Carlton Gardens just landing on all 4s, and that one stable companion, Brush Roscoe, ridden along for a few strides on landing as they go into the turn, going through their starting point and racing across now to the final half mile. 3 flights of hurdles left to jump. Good long run before they get to the first of them in the straight. And it's Venga Boy and Richie Condon who show just in front to an improving Cars Lake, who's now moved second. Calico's been relegated to third. Then Snappiest, Luminous Light, Monty's Rock is just being nudged along. And then up on the outside is Western Model as they are about to corner. and make the run on now to the third last flight with Venga Boy, Carslake and Calico with the blue and white coming right back into it again on the inside. Then we have Snappius, who's followed by Juno making headway, and right on the inside in the stripes is Luminous Light as they go over 3 out where Luminous Light wasn't all that fluent. Calico on the inside has regained the lead now from Carslake and Snappius in the centre. Venga Boy still with every chance but made a slight mistake there. They're on the run down to the final jump and it's Calico on the far side, pressed by Snappius and Carslake. Here's the last. Calico over from Snappius and Carslake and then Luminous Night as they race inside the final half furlong. Calico being strongly pressed now by Snappius on the near side, and Snappius is getting up to win it under Rachel Blackmore. Snappius from Calico, Carslake in third ahead of Luminous Light.
Snappius is the winner over at Cork and just gets the better of Calico, who once again, Andy, just manages to find one too good.
Yeah, certainly had every chance as well. Again, the favourite, Calico. No real excuses. Travel well at the front, got headed, but still going well on the home turn, and just got outrun by a horse who had finally improved in accordance with how the yards improved throughout the last few weeks. It's been a desperate time for James Nash, but he did have a winner the other day, and I thought, that could be the turning point, and this now definitely confirms it. He probably wouldn't have won this race a couple of months ago, and the yard was under fire, but now they're held.
Right, guys, just been taken away on a phone call. That's what happens. Yeah, so the winner was the favourite, and that was under the fixed method, so that's the first fixed race to go in today. But no way would I 225 at Ludlow. Excuse me, so I'll read the race before it's off, and then you know for certain that here's the first race in. It's a novice hurdle. We won't be playing this because the favourite signalled for the win. But there is a reverse gamble in Jack's Profit. So yeah, we would have gone each way on Jack's Profit. I'll just go read the rest of the race. Strong each way money for Fuji Rocks, but we're not doing the strong each ways today. Nothing for John the Baptist. Potential reverse gamble on My Boy Grizzle. And potential reverse gamble for Sawpit Samantha. But with it not being a handicap, then I wouldn't have plugged those in, because there's 3 reverse gambles, so the market sways towards the favourite on this one. So I'll let you listen to this race and see how my predictions go. But yeah, 3 potential reverse gambles. I mean, obviously if one gets in at 150 to 1, then it's a massive profit. And 80 to 1 My Boy Grizzle. Jack's Profit might just take this. Let's see how it goes.
The orange and black.
By the way,
to a yellow jacket racing on the far side of
this wouldn't have our money as a serious bet, because 3 reverse gambles in a novice. If it was a handicap, different matter entirely.
He still just about has his nose banded head in front. Welsh Charger stalking the leading pair. Jack's Profit down on the inner, Sawpit Samantha wide, and My Virtue in the yellow silks up between horses. Then Happy Sanchez and a small break to Fuji Rocks and John the Baptist. Midway across the far side, they've gone through halfway and they move on towards the only other flight awaiting them over there. This is going to be 4 from home. Galopé narrowly to My Boy Grizzle. Just about the leading pair on landing. Galopé, the more fluent of the duo there, took a couple of lengths out of My Boy Grizzle. Welsh Charger still poised in behind them as they leave the back straight behind them. Jack's Profit patiently ridden the purple and yellow for Robbie Dunn in 4th place, just ahead of My Virtue. Sawpit Samantha circling them. And then back to Happy Sanchez, Fuji Rocks, and John the Baptist remains last of all. The long run to the third last now. They're heading for the final half mile, and Fuji Rocks has come down on the turn. Parted company there with Paddy Brennan. Gave him a fairly heavy-looking fall as well. I hope Paddy's okay. He's obscured by the big screen from me at the moment, so I can't give you an update on his progress. But Gallopade is in front as they head back towards the top of the straight with 3 to jump. They're queuing up in behind. Still My Boy Grizzly in the orange and black there. Welsh Charger, Orange Jacket, waiting in the wings. Johnny Burke angling for a position. Jack's Profits now just are being asked to work a bit harder in 4th place as Gallopade tries to stretch them, but Welsh Charger covers his move as they head towards the 3rd last. So Gallopade in the noseband, Welsh Charger, Orange Jacket, couple lengths between them. Gallopade arguably the more fluent. Jack's Profit in 3rd. John the Baptist in a black jacket is running on from the rear. Gallopade at the 2nd last over neatly. Welsh Charger struggling to make inroads at this stage. John the Baptist has moved into 3rd. 1 to go. Gallopade up the final flight, kicks the top out of it, got over 2.5, maybe 3 lengths ahead. Welsh Charger continuing to chase. John the Baptist in 3rd. Good gap to the rest. Gallopade all out. Welsh Charger gathering a bit of momentum, gathering a bit ahead of steam, charging down the near side, beginning to get up. Welsh Charger pulls it out the fire, runs down Gallopade close home. John the Baptist in 3rd. Back in 4th, My Virtue.
Well, I've got to be honest, Paddy.
Yeah, My Virtue did go into reverse gamble, actually. 3rd would have been a massive 150 to 1. But that would have been, you would have had to cover 4 horses to hit that, but still a massive, massive profit with My Virtue getting into 3rd there. Crazy stuff. And similar to the 33 to 1 winner at Cheltenham, there were 3 systems running signalled, and to get that 40 to 1 plus would have had to back 3 horses to get that, actually, but you have to cover all bases. Yeah, so that My Virtue drifted into reverse gamble after the off. I took my eyes away from it, so we wouldn't have actually caught that anyway. Right, so the 235 at Chepstow. I'm just going to pause this so you're not watching too much. The fix method throws up Rouge de la Quest, and it's very hard to tell with the 3 non-runners. Really affects the market, but yeah, that would be a win bet at 5 to 2. I've got it in at each way because actually I need to take that out because 4 runners and you can only have a win bet on 4 runners, so we've just got to go for it. We cover all fixed signals, fixed race signals. This is where we get the 50 to 1s turning over the unbeatable odds on favourites in such as the Galway Festival. It is what we did a couple of years ago, so that's to go in as a win bet, and you just have to have blind faith in the fixed race signals. So come back in 3 minutes and listen to how this race goes.
When did you guys start missing 7 miles up?
Kissed over that hurdle as they move on through their point of departure and towards the 4th from home, which is the final one on the far side. Was their first. And Jazz Miwa, by a length, looking to make just about all of the running. From Rouge de la Quest on the outside, Our Bill's Aunt holding her position down on the inner half a length away, and Walk in the Woods still being waited with, as once again they're on this long run and going towards the far turn at the end of the back straight. with still about 3/4 of a mile to go.
They're often racing at Cork. We'll be there shortly.
8 in the Recticel Insulation UK Novices Handicap Hurdle. Jazz Miwa with the advantage. 3 parts of a length to Rouge de la Quest, who's been a persistent shadow throughout, right up on her outside. Just 3 parts away to Our Bills Aren't on the rail, and Walk in the Woods, still last of the 4 runners, but only 2 maybe.
Just to interrupt that commentary there. The favourite is kind of nailed on in the market here, isn't it? So, and it isn't maiden hurdle, so we'll be looking for a nice each way juicy price. And I've got a signal here for 2 here. Potential reverse gamble and From Here to Eternity. There's a gold each way gamble going on. Actually, top jockey there is on Petite Mike, and that's got a bit of money for a newcomer, so that's interesting. So we would have a cover bet on that, and there's a gold each way gamble on Champagne Secret here. So we'd have a cover bet on Petite Mike, and the 2 main bets would be reverse gamble From Here to Eternity and gold gamble each way Champagne Secret. Looking to get that each way place for a bit of profit. Certainly won't be backing this favourite at 2 to 7.
Well, she lands with a clear lead. There's a good battle on for second place, but not for first, because Jazz Miwa will make every single yard of the running. For Anne-Marie and Jamie Shepherd, Nigel and Sam Twiston Davis, Jazz Miwa wins for the second time. Rouge de la Quest second.
Yeah, so that would have been a loss. We wouldn't have played it anyway, because 3 non-runners adjusted the market so much that the all codes, all signals were flashing up, and yeah, not a wise move. Let's listen to this exciting Cork race.
3 to Knockraha Last. Petite Mike, Daring Sarah, and in between horses battle it out as they go over the flight in front of the stands. Leader was a bit awkward that time. So here they come up past the judge with a complete circuit of the track ahead of them. Finishing next time, Legume is still the one to catch. 2 now coming through into second once more on the outside, battle it out. Knockraha Last in third against the rail. Then we have the red jacket of Daring Sarah, who's followed into this turn by Petite Mike, and then a gap of about 5 lengths to find Ivy Park on the outside of Enough of That. He's home again with... After these, we have Champagne Secret, and then She's So Glorious, and still at the back, Make No Plans, and From Here to Eternity. So they've gone through their starting point, and they're once again on the way across to the back straight. 6 hurdles in all left to jump. Next one they encounter will be flight number 7. It was their first, and Legume is still the leader here to battle it out, who's now within about a length in second place. Then Knockraha Last on the inside of Daring Sarah, and they've now just put a bit of distance between themselves and Petite Mike, who's coming back to the others as they arrive at the first one down the back. Legume, again a bit awkward there, battling out over in second. And then Knockraha Last, Daring Sarah, some way clear of the weakening Petite Mike as they approach the middle one down the back. 5 out. Legume better that time. Battle it out in second. Knockraha Last running in third. And then 3 lengths back to Daring Sarah as they make the way now to the final one in this line. 4 from home. And again, a good jump from the leader there. Legume is made all to this point. Petite Mike has dropped right out to the tail of the field now, racing there in company with the likes of She's So Glorious and From Here to Eternity. So about to go into the turn at the end of the back straight. They're on the approach now to the final half mile of the contest. 3 flights of hurdles to jump. Good long run before they get to the first one in the straight. Legume has gone on again by about 2.5 lengths to, in second place, battle it out. Then Knockraha Last is just being urged along by Philip Enright. 5 lengths or so then to He's Home Again, who's made some progress into 4th place. And then after these, we have Enough of That and the weakening Daring Sarah. They corner with 3 flights left to jump. Legume the leader. But here in the centre comes Battle It Out with a menacing looking challenge. Nokrahalas is in third, and there's some way clear still of He's Home Again. 3 from home and a new leader. It was Battle It Out who took over. From Legume, who looks to have no more to offer. Nokrahalas is trying to raise a challenge now as they come to 2 from home. And it's Battle It Out from Nokrahalas. There was about a length between them over that one. Very tired now, back in third, Legume. And then He's Home Again. Here they come down to the final flight. Battle It Out from Nokrahalas, who's got to within about a half a length. Battle It Out now, asked for a bit more by Charlie O'Dwyer. Nokrahalas sticking to the task, but Battle It Out is proving too strong. And in the McManus colours for the father and son team of Conor and Charlie O'Dwyer, Battle It Out is the winner from Nokrahalas in second. And they're a long, long way clear of coming through to snatch third on the line. He's Home Again.
Battle It Out wins over in Ireland. First 2 have pulled a long way clear. Not a bad run from the second, Andy, but not form to get too excited about.
No. I mean, it's probably conditions that's made the winner look a lot less impressive than his odds suggest that he might.
Yeah, so the favourite Julie wins, and I don't think we would have even got a place. So let's count that as 3 losses, because I would have probably covered those, although I don't like to in a non-handicap. Let's move on to the next. Poor racing today. So because this is soft ground, well, nothing's taken out of here, so the trainers were saying that they can all go on the soft. Just have a look at see if there's any. No, the fix has already happened. Win bet only on this kind of race. It is a handicap. There is a slight system move for #boom. But at these kind of prices, let's consider it a favourite, and we wouldn't really be interested in this race. There's some money for Coupe de Gold as well, but that's most probably forecast money, so yeah, we'd certainly. The outsider is a reverse gamble in a handicap. So at the not on a no, we can't each way it. We can't possibly, because it's win bet only on this race. So yeah, that's where we just ignore that one. See what's ahead of us. Ludlow, small race again. Handicap chase. 3 o'clock Ludlow. Yeah, so I'm being a little bit more careful here, but there's a potential fixed race here, so I'm just going to pop it in. 3 o'clock, and then I'll stop recording and we'll come back to see how that runs. So yeah, so I'm kind of form trained as well, so on form it doesn't look right, and nobody would go for straight win on Charlie Ritz, but it is a potential fix, so we're going to cover it. And the fixed races do come in the second half of racing 90% of the time anyway, although over in Ireland it didn't. It came in the second race, and we covered it, but I wasn't recording like I am now, because I've got to record absolutely everything just to show. And soon enough, I mean, this inputting into racing index isn't working as I thought it would, because especially when racers are regularly going after the off, it's just impossible on my method, reading the markets, and the opening shows coming so late, because the bookies know about me, and that's why they adjusted opening shows from 5 minutes before to close to the off, and 1 minute before. They think they can scupper my methods, but it's not going to happen. So I hope the bookies see this, because I know they're tracking me, and there's a story behind that, because the bookies actually invited me into the Royal Box for a day to get me drunk and try and get information out of me, where I know, yeah, I've been doing this for 27 years, and I'm about to go live, and I'm about to, in fact, you know, yeah, maybe too late. We would have had a lot more profit before they counteracted my methods. Knowing what I know, but knowing what I know now, there's actually, in the last 2 years, I discovered the fix, and the fix is now joint favourite primary system method with the reverse gambles and the gold gambles. So stay tuned, keep watching, and you might learn something.
Carton 3 lengths away, 2 more to jump. Jazz King on the right. Zest for Hope fighting on under pressure, back in front, but not so good at the fence there as Jazz King, who goes on narrowly once more. Carton in third, 1 to jump. Still very much up for grabs here between the grey Jazz King and Zest for Hope. Jazz King just beginning to assert now. Jumped well there, took a couple lengths out of Zest for Hope. Fire Dancer, a faller at the last one held. Jazz King now beginning to assert, drawing away.
Yeah, Jazz King was almost a gold gamble there. In fact, it did touch gold gamble, Jazz King. I didn't look at the market because of the non-runner, which was an outsider anyway, so it just makes kind of sense. But there was 2 reverse gambles in that race, and 1 reverse gamble in that race, and 2 gold gambles. So yeah, still would have made a profit if we'd have covered all 3, but yeah, unlikely to know really. And so I just went straight on the fix, which I don't know if it fell or not, because I can't understand why it's not there or close. So that's another pull on profits for today. 310 at Chepstow then. It's now 306. Again, soft ground. Trainers pulled 2. Or has he? Just have a look. Yeah, third favourite out. And the outsider out. Let's just have a look at potential fix. Like I say, they're going to come later on in the day. Right, so this is what I call a super fix. It's going blind on the super fix right now because of the market, the non-runners, so I can't judge the market too much, and we're just going to put in this fix just to cover it. It's juicy 3 to 1. And these stakes that I'm putting in, just ignore them. You'll obviously be betting this 5,000 win to you might be a 5 win. So just hold fast and you'll see it's all going to come together. We would have had a good start betting in real money at 33 to, well, each way, over 40 to 1, so it's just, you know, we're using bookies money right now. Let's see what the experts say at William Hill Radio, see if they get it right against me. I'll leave it running. I know it's boring for you guys that are not really into this sport, but for me it's super interesting. So it's a handicap chase, and there's no reverse gamble. There's a gold gamble win on the favourite. So it's just a blind bet on Check It Out because it's a fixed signal, fixed race signal. And if you carry on watching, you're going to start to compute and understand why the fix is the fix, etc, etc, etc. But don't try too much to work out my method, because it took 27 years to discover, and of course I'm not going to give too much away and allow you to run free with profits without giving something back.
It's 5 to 1. It's 13 to 2 for a Dublin job. Storm Marla 15 to 2. 8s and bigger the rest, Andy.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one over in Cork. I had a good look at it this morning. Couldn't find an angle in. Can see why Mighty Jeremy's favourite. Ran well last time at Fairy House in a similar race to this. Won't put you off that. I thought Hideout might go okay at a price. Whether going 2.5 miles is exactly what it wants, but it is a front runner and it's liable to get an unpestered uncontested lead from the front. So if you're looking for something that will give you a spin for a fairway and hopefully might just hang on and maybe finish in the frame, Hideout probably fits that bill. But I'd be more confident about Dock Road going well at Chepstow than I would anything I tip at Cork running up to form.
Okay. Hideout 16 to 1, by the way. It's an extra place race as well. We've got 4 places on offer with 13 runners, so it could be worth a look from an each way point of view. That's Cork, which is going to get underway in 5 minutes' time. This Chepstow race, they are now off. It's going to take a lot longer than 5 minutes. Dock Road 6 to 4, the market leader.
The first of the 23 fences with Check It Out and Dock Road, the first two to rise, with Achille towards the outside in third, Domaine de Lille racing fourth early on, and Sandy Boy settled at the rear of the field. As they head up past the stands, they've got 2 complete circuits of the course in this roof base handicap chase over the full Coral Welsh National course and distance of 3 miles 6.5 furlongs, and the 5 runners in the rain head over towards the far side of the course, where there's 6 fences awaiting them, and it is Dock Road, the youngest horse in the field and bottom weight, racing on the outside of the top weighted Check It Out. There's about a neck between them. There's 2 lengths in third to the brown jacket of Domaine de Lille, and then a length and a half to Achille, who's on the outside of Sandy Boy, as they just rise ever so slightly and head off into the back straight. And fence number 2 will be followed by the first of the open ditches. Dock Road by a neck to Check It Out takes them on the approach to this one. 2.5 lengths to Domaine de Lille racing in third, with Achille on the outside in the green jacket. Sandy Boy back down on the inner. Here is the open ditch, fence number 3. All of these chasers jumping it well before they go on to the fourth, with Dock Road landing about a length to the good. Just a change of hands and a small shake of the reins from Michael Nolan on Sandy Boy as they jump the fence down the back. What's the old water jump back until 2000? Now just a plain fence, and it was number 5. And 6 and 7 also both plain, coming up quickly as well. Dock Road and Check It Out. Over in front of Domaine de Lille. Length and a half to Achille on the outside of Sandy Boy, who's a length back last of all, as they jump the 7th, final one down the back. And now they go towards the far corner here of Piercefield Park and race on towards the home straight, where there are 5 fences in a line. And Check It Out, who has won up to 3 miles, 3.5 furlongs. He finished 3rd in the Beecher Chase in December of 2021. Domaine de Lille was 4th that day, 6 lengths behind him. And Achille was also in that race. He finished in 5th. And he was 7 lengths off Check It Out. They're all reconvening here at Chepstow this afternoon. They come back towards home. Dock Road. His only try over a marathon trip saw him unseat at the second last at Fakenham on New Year's Day, but has been placed in both of his runs since then. On the outside of Check It Out, who put in a really big leap there for Sam Twiston-Davies, and he emerged with a lead of about a length or so.
Messages.
Domaine de Lille racing in 3rd with Achille away to the left of the grey, jumping another ditch under Shane Quinlan, and Sandy Boy still last of the 5. The middle one down the home straight coming up is the 10th. Check It Out's lead has been reduced again by Dock Road. They both jumped that well, with 2 men to Domaine de Lille and Achille. And Sandy Boy, having had an early shake of the reins, now just being shaken up a little bit more as Check It Out completely guessed at that one. But he landed on all 4s. Sam Twiston-Davies maintained the partnership coming to fence number 12. That was much better. Dock Road on his outside led over that one. And these two have seen the lead swing back and forth between them throughout the first circuit of the race, and they've got a circuit left to go, about 1 mile and 7 furlongs. As they race over towards the far side, 11 fences to jump.
They are often racing at Cork as well. We'll do our best to get the closing stages after this.
Check It Out and Sam Twiston-Davies in 2nd spot. 1.5 lengths to Domaine de Lille, who's come right down the handicap in the last 18 months or so.
Excuse me, guys, I didn't look at Cork. I didn't realise, because on Racing Post, when you press next race off, it just skips the Irish racing, so we've got to be on it. But you know, it's kind of leisure time and just playing around with it. So let's have a look at Cork before it finishes, to prove any thing that I would have got on. Blackmore, Colleen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look. I think it's a handicap. So the favourite can be beaten. There's a massive gold bet on the favourite. Like I say again, that has to be winning. It's no good placing. Right. So let's look at the right, there's a fix in this race that I would have blindly done. There's a fix each way on Crowd Satepapalapatat, number 2. Potential fix. It's not showing in the market, but that is a regular thing for the fixers, so that would have been an each way there. Blind, I'll say blind because it's not showing in the market any method, but we had an 8-to-1 winner yesterday from this method. Just looking through the market. 2 mile 4, so plenty of time. So I'm not cheating. Right, so there's a reverse gamble. So there's a fix on the 2-horse, and there's a reverse gamble on the 1-horse Astrophysicist, which we would have been betting because it's a handicap. both each way. Now look at the market as a whole. Yep. Another reverse gamble on hideout, so we would cover that as a reverse gamble, but if there's too many reverse gambles, we wouldn't make a bet. Okay, that's good. That's looking good. Yeah, so obviously when we're placing bets we'll be a lot sharper. Today's my leisure day. It's a day off. I'm not really... I don't feel the need for speed. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. So potential reverse gamble. We'll leave the outsider out of it because that's a very weak reverse gamble. So there's two strong reverse gambles here. So you got the fix on the 2-horse, reverse gambles on the 1-horse. And that's the only ones I'm interested in this race. Astrophysicist then and Crowds Dapple Tart. Let's listen to how it goes.
From Clune is making headway up on the outside from the back of the field as they turn their heads for home, facing up now towards the third last flight. Leading the way from Plainer Battered, Mighty Jeremy. Here comes McGrath from Clune in company with Storm Mahler as they take 3 out, and a terrible mistake there from Plainer Battered has surely put pay to his chance. Leading the way from Mighty Jeremy, and then Storm Mahler 2 out. McGrath from Clune is now struggling to get to grips with them in 4th. Leading the way it is who heads on to the final flight. Here's Mighty Jeremy in the centre, coming down to the last, leading the way from Mighty Jeremy and Storm Mahler, and now the run in, leading the way Mighty Jeremy, Storm Mahler on the stand side as they race now at 50 yards to go. It's Storm Mahler and Mighty Jeremy battling it out. Storm Mahler just from Mighty Jeremy, leading the way, gave it a good go in 3rd. McGrath from Clune was 4th.
Good finish over at Cork, and it's Storm Mahler who goes on to just about get there from Mighty Jeremy. Decent finish, Andy.
Yeah, Eric McNamara, synonymous with victories at this track and Limerick and places like that, particularly when the mud's flying. He was second last time out of Clonmel under similar allergies conditions, and the form of his previous race had been boosted not only by Carbon King, who's won again since, but by Buddy One, who ran an extraordinary race for such an outsider in the Martin Pipe. So, you know, he had the form in a low level race to certainly suggest he'd go well here, and he sloshed his way through the mud just slightly better than Mighty Jeremy.
And delighted to hear that horse and jockey OK, the market leader over at Chepstow, Doc Road, who took a tumble. I mean, surely Doc Road would have won that by quite a way in the end, Andy, you'd have thought.
That was cruel. I mean, he literally canted his way around. He jumped brilliant. He just basically ran out of opposition to take him into the race. And as soon as he hit the front and went 3 or 4 clear on the bridle, he just stepped to that ditch and, you know, I think he would have been okay, but the horse just stumbled. If the horse hadn't stumbled, I think he would have stayed on. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those unlucky things. And
Ring the Moon
was the beneficiary.
Certainly was.
Oh, yeah.
And as Stephen said, horse and jockey up OK, so that sounds like good news from over at Chepstow, where, interestingly, all 5 had headgear on. I mean, it was a race for you to actually notice things like that, and it looked like it was compulsory, but it wasn't. That was a 3:10, Domain de Lille photo, and check it.
Right, so that would have been, in all honesty, 3 bets minus our initial profit. Really, either a bad read or something was planned there. Yeah, it's a 4-horse, so what can I say? None of them came from the market there. Right, 325 Sedgefield. Let's start to get on it as though we would actually make bets. 325 at Sedgefield. So win bet only in a handicap. Crikey, on soft ground. Not really interested when the ground changes. The ground has changed today from its declarations 4 days ago. It was expected to be firm, so we're going to be very careful with these kind of meetings. Normally I just call them off and say, but if the trainers know their horses well and the ground suits, then there's no reason why the market doesn't reflect properly. But it's very much a less accuracy, let's say, in the market when this happens. So 325 at Sedgefield. I'm not interested in putting this in at those prices. So quick read. So the market suggests, yeah. No, we don't want to play this. So the favourite, weak signal, and Sir Apollo as a weak signal. So let's move on to the next. Otherwise I'd be tempted to stroke my ego. 325, 335 at the lows. Next one. Okay. Now the smaller race. Oh dear. Oh no. 335 little lows. No. There's nothing exciting about that race. Two pulled out, so the market's virtually unreadable anyway. So we'll skip that one. Yeah, let's be professional about it. So let's prepare the 335, 345 at Chepstow. Soft ground there as well. I don't know why there's no all-weather meetings at night at the minute, and this is where we can easily mop up. So we just, but the good thing is about when there is a change of ground is when we can't hit those reverse gambles, and the bookie knows about them, and that's why he signals them, and that's why we got 33-1 winner in the first, because he knows, but nobody knows apart from me. 345 at Chepstow. That's funny. Oh. Oh. So is that a relation? Just a minute. You might have to cover that with it being a weak signal in a handicap. Alright, so we're just going to cover one just in case. Right, so what time of day is it? So we're approaching the fixed signals, and it does have a strong signal. Again, like I say, like normally favourites have, there's that many favourite backers throughout the whole nation that normally a favourite is fancied. the amount of money that goes, just even little dribbles from the old age pensioners. Now, we're far from the live shows on this one, so yeah, I'd currently say a lay bet for Barrier Peaks to lose, but it might change. It's a dodgy business when you start doing lay bets. So I'm just going to look at my main tool on this one, because we're getting to serious business now. 345 Chepstow. Let's just get rid of those. So this method as well works on, in fact it works massively where on certain meetings around the world are fixed as folk. Now I will cover a USA meeting one night, but at the minute it's a lot of work and there's a lot of meetings. Right, okay, so 345 Chepstow. Right, so I'm going to work from this market, because this market is a true market. It doesn't. This market here, by the way, that I'm looking at on Racing Post, this Betfair, you will find these different odds to these odds on Betfair itself. This is because these markets are reflected from the exchanges, and that's very important. Anyway, I'm going to put in the fixers blind before I miss this. I've missed so many on this, it's unbelievable. We're only halfway through the day. It gets very exhausting actually. But I'm going to put in. I mean, look at the form on this fix here, Rocking a Storm. Now, is it a super fix? Let's check it out. Is it a super fix? No, it's not a super fix, but it's very strange, don't you think? The horse is priced 11 to 2. It's been up and down a little bit, but with no apparent previous form to suggest that it's going to win a race. Let's have a look at the trainer. Trainer's not doing too well. Pulled up third, pulled up second. He's had no recent wins. We go each way. We've got to cover them. Now, I don't know, but I'm just going to cover it anyway. And I'm going to put the full amount in, not just a £1,000 cover bet. I've got a feeling about this one. Improving form figures. Previous run to last came 9th. His last run came 5th. So that would suggest, with the right weight, that he's improving, and might be just something that's organised. Might have been run over the wrong distance. He might be just getting his fitness up. See how the trainer's doing. Nigel Hawke had a winner, yes, a couple of days ago, and a couple there. So that's just he's in form or coming into banging form. So we're gonna call me Saint on an each way. So they're the two fixers. Now I've got to go through the whole market. Not too quickly because it's all going to change just before the off. So no surprise if Weaver's answer wins here. He's trying. Let me just get organised. I'm working from computers, Paid a fortune for this thing, and it absolutely slows me down. Right, okay. Right, so let's get the horses locked in now. Can always delete them, that's a quicker way. Dear, there's money for, quite strong money for Ito Ditto, and that's improving on form. But the trainer's form, stable, is absolutely corrupt. Right, let's carry on. The bookies are trying to steer us onto Ito Ditto, but I'm not interested. It's not in my system. Right. Money for that early as well, so some tipsters have been at it here, trying to get everybody to follow and gamble the wrong horses in. Well, most likely, I mean, there's many tipsters right now, and they just, it's very bad. They just sending people wrong information, and they're just making money out of for as long as they can. Just absolutely screwing people. Same as the whole industry does, but they're even worse because they should know better. Right, so it's interesting. So I've got a potential, so that might fall into a gold each way gamble. Yeah, and that's got some. Let's have a look. He's had one win. Potentially could have another. Yeah, that's the thing about these handicaps. Right, so quickly go through the rest of the race. Obviously, I read races when I'm under pressure a lot quicker than this. You have to. That's not quite a reverse gamble, but Castasha. I've got plenty of time to look into the trainers and everything right now. Yep, forget that. Forget that. Forget that. That's a potential outsider getting into a place. Right, so what's the conclusion so far on this meeting, on this particular race? So you see the live market on this Ito Ditto. Turns 8, 7, 13 to 2, flip back to 7, so it's currently showing it's a donkey. Look at this unbeaten horse. Won the last 3 races, but this is a time where it fails, trust me. Right, so I'm showing strong for Weaver's Answer, I'm showing strong for Il Ditto, but I'm not going for them. I'm going to go blind on the potential fixes. It's that time of day, and if you don't stick to the program and don't stick to these things, this is where the difference is between profit and a loss, right? So let's put them in for now, lock them in. Right. Okay, so let's listen for a bit to the experts.
It out wide now, under Paddy Brennan. Killaloe down on the inner. Prime Time Lady up between horses. 3 in a line in behind Bertie's Wish, and they're now sitting right on his tail. And all four seemingly with some sort of a chance. Primetime Lady, the first one to come under firmer pressure, and she's the first one to crack as well. Bertie's Wish narrowly on the crown of the turn. Mamoon Star wide, Killaloe going up between horses. They'll be almost three in a line as they head for the last 3 furlongs and the last 3 flights. Primetime Lady outpace. Mamoon Star, the latest one to come under pressure. And now Killaloe and Black Cap for Harry Cobden is asked to come and challenge Bertie's Wish on the left. They're going to 3 out almost as one. Killaloe on the right, Bertie's Wish on the left, shaken off Mamoon Star, back in fourth, Primetime Lady. Here's the second last. Killaloe and jumped into a narrow lead. Bertie's Wish asked to try and respond, well clear of the other two, down to the final flight. Killaloe and held together, pricks his ears, jumps it fluently, certainly more fluent than Bertie's Wish, and Killaloe is now asked to extend by Harry Cobden, and he begins to move on, opens up by 2-3 lengths. Bertie's Wish has given it a good go, he's sticking to the task. Killaloe, however, merely has to be nudged out to complete the hat-trick for the Owners Group 93, champion trainer Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. Killaloe beat Bertie's Wish well clear of Mamoon Star and Primetime Lady.
Yeah, it looked like a matter of time, I guess, there, Paddy, that the favourite was just waiting, and it was when the button would be pushed. To be fair, it didn't really need to be in the end, did it?
No, not really. He flattened out a little bit at the top of the track, Killaloe. He was just in top gear for a few strides, but once he got turned in, balanced, and you were always a bit happier then. And when I seen him prick his ears go to the second last, you knew that the job was done. And if you want any horse eyeballing, I think it's definitely Bertie's Wish. I don't think it takes him long to raise the white flag. But well done to Paul Nicholls. This horse was well bought, to be honest, because he'd had 3 reasonable runs in maidens in Ireland for Johnny Murtagh, hadn't been abused, and now he's 3 from 5 over hurdles. Very, very likeable horse, and probably one to follow.
That was over at Ludlow. SPs to follow. We owed you the 4th from Cork. That was McGrath from Clune at 16-1 in their 3:15, and we'll be back there soon. You know the drill by now. We'll talk Chepstow and Cork. We'll start at Chepstow, where Barrier Peaks is 11-4. 4-1 for Weaver's Answer. Rockin' a Storm 11-2. It is 7-1 then for Ito Ditto. Bert Wilson 10s, 11's Immortal Fame, and 14-1 and bigger prices. The remainder 4 places on offer here as well. It is an extra place race. Andy, I previewed this race actually on the retail service in video form. I said Barrier Peaks obviously an understandable favourite, but if you were looking for one each way, I thought Immortal Fame would have a bit of a squeak back hurdling, but it's a fairly open race.
Yeah, ground's a little bit of an issue for Immortal Fame. Just won a couple of bad races on genuine soft ground. That would have been my only concern with Tom Lacey's 7-year-old, including I think one here early on in the season. Look, Barrier Peaks, he's been one of those pipe horses that's been very, very well placed. I think David Pipe's actually responsible for several horses running up sequences this season. I think Shot Boy was another one. He's had a little bit of a break, not massive break, but he's been off the track for a month, which almost seemed like summer holidays for him. He was running literally every week, wasn't he? So you've just got to hope that he comes back in the same kind of form. What we said earlier as well, I think it's quite important. How this race is going to pan out tactically, I think might have a bearing on the end result. I think you need to be on horses that are up with the speed there today, certainly based on what we've seen so far, unless we get a total turnaround. So he kind of... He's certainly not a front runner, Barrier Peaks. That would be a slight concern, but he's also not like one that's going to be, way out towards the back. I think the most interesting runners in this field are Weaver's Answer, an unexposed grey 5-year-old trained by Tim Vaughan, obviously local track to him. He's very much had a profile to suggest that he's been a handicap project throughout. And he actually beat Barrier Peaks early on in the season at Foss last when he was second and Barrier Peaks was behind. If you're a weights and measures monkey, then there's only one you could back here, because I think there's a massive turnaround in their respective marks now. And maybe the ground and the trip and the track probably didn't suit Weaver's Answer last time at Ludlow. Tight 2 miles on good ground, more back over and more galloping track similar to Foss last. That'll definitely suit him. And the other one is Ito Ditto, or Ito Ditto, depending on which way you pronounce it. He ran really well here last time out behind Upi Collonge.
Yeah, they're talking about Ito Ditto.
Upi Collonge is a nice horse for Paul Nicholls.
Excuse me. Yeah, they're talking about Ito Ditto, which is Let's have a look. Ditto is approaching a gold each way gamble, so it should be thereabouts. Rocking a Storm is very interesting, just purely because that previous form there, without studying the midnight candles for hours, to only come up with a loser. Yeah, see that adjustment on the live shows? That is definitely up to something. Rocking a Storm. Yeah, I'd expect that to be trying. The other one, the other potential fix, Call Me Saint, is not in any method call just now. So yeah, a lot of interest in Rocking a Storm, a lot of interest in Ito Ditto. And that's about it, I think. And yeah, I'd say Barrier Peaks is day to lose. Lay that bet and make a fortune. You might get 10 to 1 laying that. That looks to me like it's certainly gonna. Yeah, that's signalling as a loss today. So you see how late those live shows came? They came, well, with a minute in hand to read the market on the fresh market. See if there's anything else. Bert Wilson. Let me see if I can get it in. No, it's too late. It's too late for me, but we would have made that bet. So we would have gone each way on Bert Wilson here as well. For Nigel Hawk's table, who had a winner yesterday. Am I seeing in the matrix? Is there 2 Nigel Hawk runners in this race? Yeah, there is. With the one that we covered, Call Me Saint, the outsider. It's a very interesting race. See how it goes.
If you're looking to get involved, that's Cork coming up in 5 minutes' time.
Cork.
They've got 3 miles to cover. Before that at Chepstow, we've got 2.5 to cover. Barrier Peaks, the 11-4 favourite. Runners are down at the start. They're going to take a couple of turns and then hopefully they'll be dispatched. Rockin' a Storm 9-2 with Weaver's Answer and Ito Ditto 13-2. That's the pair that Andy likes, numbers 5 and 11. Ito Ditto, Weaver's Answer. 9-1 Bert Wilson. Immortal Fame is 11-1. It's 12s for just short of a bubble. Treasure Dillon 14s, 18s for Merveo, and 22-1. And bigger prices the rest over at Chepstow. So 3:45 on the way shortly. Best luck with your bets. At Ludlow, Killaloe was the 11-10 favourite, beating Bertie's Wish into second. At Sedgefield, Wake Up Early at 3-1 was the winner. Sir Apollo was back in second. And we are just about set for a start now over at Chepstow, so we'll head there. Good luck if you're getting involved here. Cork, hot on the heels of this, in fact, will go during Chepstow, so make sure your bets are on over in Ireland. They've been very prompt so far. Franciscan Rock at 3-1 is the favourite, and Andy Holdings Nap.
Reverse gamble, Walsham. Just get that in.
Runners being called out onto the course. Barrier Peak still 11-4. Rockin' a Storm 9-2 with Weaver's Answer. 13-2 Ito Ditto. Bert Wilson 9-1. 11-1 Bar. So the field just turning away from the tape before they come back to face the starter. Kenyan Cowboy's got a very warm around the girths. And now they walk forward. The flag is up. Here we go. And that's it. They're away. 13 runners sent on their journey for the Ashcross Services Handicap Hurdle. They raced down to the first of 10 with the grey Weaver's Answer right in the centre, leading the early charge. Kath Tasha away to the left in the yellow. The black and white of Rockin' a Storm right there. And on the inside, as they jump that, the 2 in blue and yellow. The extreme right, Bert Wilson. Nose-banded Immortal Fame. And those are the front 5. They're followed by Treasure Dillon in 6. Barrier Peak 7 early on. Kath Tasha just just taking a bit of a pull in behind that front group now to race with Merveo. Just short of a bubble, Call Me Sant and Hill Sin towards the rear with Ito Ditto as they jump flight at number 2. Where Immortal Fame was a little bit awkward, and as they come on now down towards the 3rd in the driving rain, it's Kenyan Cowboy and Max Kendrick leading up towards the stand side. From over towards the far side, Bert Wilson. Weaver's Answer between them, in company with Immortal Fame in 4th. Then Rockin' a Storm 5 as they leave the ground once again. Barrier Peaks is tucked away towards the far side in the black and white, followed by Treasure Dillon, who's in red, white and blue. Just short of a bubble is racing with Cast Tasha. Call Me Sant is now racing with Merveo, and they're both towards the rear in 10th and 11th. Ito Ditto in 12th, and the dark green of Hilsin, and Harry Kimber last of the 13 runners as they race over towards the far side of the course and out into the country with 7 flights to jump. And Bert Wilson, Tom Buckley, winner at Plumpton at the turn of the year, leading up by 3 parts of a length to Kenyan Cowboy, who's pulled up on his last 5 starts. Imperial Fame is racing in 3rd position down on the running rail from Rockin' a Storm towards the outside, and Weaver's Answer and Alan Johns between those. In 6th place, Barrier Peaks, who's looking for a 5-timer this afternoon after wins at Exeter Market Race.
Right, so we've got a situation going on in this, and this is where it gets exciting, because we have to cover each method, and now there's 2 gold gambles and there's 3 reverse gambles here, and there's one quite strong, which is Street Value. So now we're getting into exciting times, big handicaps.
Wilson just led. Cast Tasha was untidy in the mid-division and half flattened the flight of hurdles. Kenyan Cowboy, having been prominent, is losing ground on the outside and under pressure from Max Kendrick as they jump the 3rd one down the back, and the 4th comes up quickly, flight 7 overall. Bert Wilson, 3 parts of a length, Immortal Fame 1 and 2. Rockin' a Storm the outside in the white and black 3. Treasure Dillon disputing 4th with Weaver's Answer. Then in 6th place will be Barrier Peaks on the inside. 7 was Cast Tasha. Merveo being bumped along in 8th. The same for Ito Ditto in 9. Just short of a bubble, and on the inside, Call Me Sant. Then Kenyan Cowboy, and Hill Sin is a length away at the rear of the field. But those rear 2 are off the main group as they go down the hill towards the far turn. Still plenty of them right up there, though, and travelling well, headed by Bert Wilson in towards that corner from Immortal Fame and Rockin' a Storm. Then in 4th is Treasure Dillon, 5th Weaver's Answer. Barrier Peaks is moving well down on the inside rail. He turns in 6th place, 4 lengths off the leader. 3 parts to Cast Tasha, 2 lengths to Call Me Sant. Merveo going backwards under strong pressure, just short of a bubble. He's trying to keep tabs with them for Connor Ring as they race onto the top of the home straight, and they are clear of the remainder.
Just turning in at Chepstow, they are often racing at Cork. We'll head there soon.
Ito Ditto and Hill Sin. They're racing towards 3 from home, and Bert Wilson has been right up there throughout, and he's got a 2.5 length lead over Immortal Fame. Weaver's Answer with the orange cap away to the left making ground, and between them Rockin' a Storm. Barrier Peaks has jumped it in 5th place, but he's still moving pretty well. They've drawn away from Treasure Dillon. Then came Cast Tasha, Call Me Sant. Ito Ditto has called it a day at the rear of the field as they come down towards 2 out, and Bert Wilson making the best of his way home, being pursued by Weaver's Answer towards the near side. Immortal Fame. Barrier Peaks, who'd gone the inside throughout, has now switched out towards the stand side and being asked to close in by Fergus Gillard. They're clear of Rockin' a Storm as they race down to the final flight. They haven't got to Bert Wilson, but they're queuing up. Immortal Fame on the far side. Here's Barrier Peaks on the near side, and Weaver's Answer between them as they come towards the final hurdle. Bert Wilson on the far side. Barrier Peaks on the near side. Touches down. These 2 set off up the running from Immortal Fame. It's Bert Wilson the far side responding to Tom Buckley. Barrier Peaks trying hard to close on the near side, but Bert Wilson will see it out. Bert Wilson saw off Barrier Peaks. Immortal Fame 3rd. Weaver's Answer 4. Then Rockin' a Storm, Cast Tasha, Treasure Dillon, Call Me Sant, just short of a bubble, and they were clear of the rest.
Bert Wilson wins at Chepstow, straight to Cork.
West Breeze it is then, who will lead them into the turn. Still with disadvantage of about 4 lengths to Run for Pat on the inside of Wowsham. And then St. Donna, who's now 4th, ahead of Street Values, continuing to lose ground. Now racing in company with Franciscan Rock, and on the inside is Robinstown. Wild Hunt is next, together with Martha Divine, Ciao Bella, Wait Till I Tell You, and Robin the Glory. And well, the early signs are not looking good for Street Value here. Having been up there early, he's now dropped back and is almost at the tail of the field. Into the straight they come, and about to go through their starting point. Next one they encounter will be flight number 7. And West Breeze it is, still showing the way and continuing to keep out wide from Run for Pat in second as they go over this one. Again, the leader putting in a good leap as they now race on
Bert Wilson
to the middle one in the home straight. Number 8 in all, West Breeze pops over that one from St. Donna, moving up to dispute second once more with Run for Pat, and then Wowsham. Gap of a few lengths developing to Franciscan Rock and Robinstown.
So Bert Wilson was, if you go back on my read, was strong each way. Barrier Peaks did duly lose at a 10-1 lay. Bert Wilson I didn't put in. Maybe I should cover all the strong. It was the other Nigel Hawk horse. Maybe I should have put that in. So that's cost us dearly, but we would have done the lay on Barrier Peaks to lose for 10-1. So excuse me, we don't lose any money on that. See how this goes. More interesting.
Is in 5th position, and then in behind these, Wait Till I Tell You, together with Robinstown and Martha Divine. Ciao Bella is starting to struggle now at the back as they make their way on towards this next flight of hurdles. West Breeze from St. Donna over in second, and they were followed over it in third by Wowsham. Run for Pat has dropped back into 4th now. And then we have Franciscan Rock as they come to the middle one down the back straight. West Breeze has paddled his way through that one. Awkward jump back in the field from Robinstown. Top weight is now starting to feel the pinch, it would appear, as they take the final one down the back, and a new leader that time. St. Donna has come through to pick it up, put in the better jump ahead of West Breeze, who's now in second but remains close up. Then in third is Run for Pat with Wowsham. Franciscan Rock next in the field, and they're followed by Wait Till I Tell You. Ciao Bella is coming to a halt out the back, and it mightn't be long before Robinstown does likewise. Across the top of the track they come, just over half a mile to go, and it's St. Donna now leading by about a length to West Breeze, who's still right there in second. Franciscan Rock is in third. They're followed on the approach to the home turn by Run for Pat and Wowsham, and an improving Wait Till I Tell You. A few lengths then to Robin de Glory, followed in by Martha Divine. Top of the home run then, 3 flights of hurdles left to take. It looks open. St. Donna now being pressed again and headed in fact by West Breeze. Franciscan Rock is coming there, and in between horses the strong travelling Wait Till I Tell You. 3 out. Wait Till I Tell You a bit awkward. West Breeze landed in front once again from Franciscan Rock, and Wait Till I Tell You still there with every chance. Wowsham just in behind them. Oh, West Breeze is down.
No.
And in with every chance. West Breeze a faller, and that has left Wait Till I Tell You well clear, seemingly with the race at his mercy. Wait Till I Tell You is over the last, not the best of jumps. Wowsham is in second and trying to close the gap. Franciscan Rock is back in third, but Wait Till I Tell You, produced confidently by Philip Enright, will go on to win here. Wait Till I Tell You, the winner from Wowsham, who stuck to the task well.
So unfortunately we had a winner there, 4-1, and a place at 33-1, but we would have gone on at 40-1. So nothing lost there, but a good call. I think Wowsham was the one that was really after the win. Unfortunately the faller left it open to a non-signal winner there. Now we're getting into the fixed races, 4 o'clock at Sedgefield. We've got 2 minutes to go. I'm just going to get that in to make sure I get it in. Pretty confident, apart from the favourites being signal quite strong in the 4 o'clock. On the wind side, yeah, so close, no cigar. But these are the ones, if we don't cover them, that's when they pop up and go in at 40 to 1. Yeah, maybe I should cover the strong bets as well. So you see, we're working 2 hours now after the first big win. This is how it goes. I mean, the other night we weren't in profit until the last race at 40 to 1 winner reverse gamble, and if we hadn't covered that reverse gamble at 40 to 1, we wouldn't have been in profit. So you've got to be on it, and you've got to be in it to win it. So yeah, so this race reads dramatic, lots of codes, so I have to bring it down to just the one, and I'm just going to cover the fix, which is Perfect Man. It's a gold each way gamble. It's 2 codes in one, so that's why I've doubled my stakes. That's as high as I can go in Racing Index, 10 grand. So yeah, so we're getting into, this is where we start making profit now, and the fixes will duly come. So let's listen to this one and see what the experts say.
Hogan on board, and I think you're pretty much guaranteed that Beats Banagher is going to run his race. We see so many of these veteran JP horses end up with Ben Haslam, and they tend to find their mark and are pretty consistent. But I'm going to take Hill in the mix here. I thought he got the job done very nicely at Plumpton last time out. He's a horse who had a little bit of form in between the flags, 3 quick runs over hurdles. A handicapper gave him an opening mark of 83, and he duly cashed in with the visor on first time. He's got that on here again today. David Bass in the plate, looking to go in again and should be competitive of 89. The handicapper's been more unfair and giving him a chance to go and win, and you'd imagine Connections would have opportunities closer to home, but they're probably coming up here for the 3 mile 3. You won't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, to be fair, I hadn't even clocked that that's a rather unusual test, but it certainly is over hurdles, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and I mean that's all this Son of Al in the Mix does, to be honest. But I just think there's a bit more juice in that Mark Dunny 89. He's only a 6-year-old, and Lonnie Hill very, very shrewd. They might just have found another opportunity here.
Ticking round to post time at Sedgefield. It's the last call for bets, with this being a long distance race once again. We're not all that far away from Ludlow's 410, where Concetto is 15 to 8, Latitude is 2 to 1, 11 to 2 for Tide Times, and 15 to 2 in Bigger the Rest. And we heard from the guys earlier, Latitude is a pick for both in that 410 from Ludlow. We'll hear why after Sedgefield. They're going to take a turn and be sent on their way here. Over at Cork, SPs for the first 3 anyway. Wait till I tell you Wowsham and Franciscan Rock, 15 to 2, 33s and 3 to 1. Well done to Maureen on the email. She mentioned Wowsham earlier. We will wrap up 4th shortly. Right now, though, at Sedgefield, flag is raised. Let's head there for the 4 o'clock.
Coming in then for this Vickers.bet independent family-owned bookmakers handicap hurdle. 3 miles and 3 furlongs. Reaching the starter, and they're off and racing. Master of the Malt is one of the first to show in the black and yellow colours, and wider out the maroon and white stripes of Sight Nor Seen. The brace of greys, the paler version being El Damour, as they rise at the first, is just ahead of the other one, Hill in the Mix, who's in the purple and white. And the last 2, that's Beats Banagher, who's under restraint by Jack Hogan, picking up the ride from Kevin Brogan. Jack can claim the £5, being restrained behind Perfect Man in red and white as they climb up towards the second. Sight Nor Seen, a Master of the Malt, setting a reasonable enough pace as they continue their progress now left-handed and continue this long run between flights 1 and 2. That in the lead, Master of the Malt, half a length clear from Sight Nor Seen. We've split into 3 pairs. Noah's Ark formation as Ale Damour is on the inside of Hill in the Mix, and that Beats Banagher's partner is Perfect Man as they make the turn and head on towards the second. Master of the Malt and Sight Nor Seen are over safely, as are the whole field. Master of the Malt just been a bit keen since being joined in the black and yellow colours, and his rider Craig Nichol just moved him away briefly from Sight Nor Seen to try and get him to settle better as they run downhill. The two of them have opened up clear daylight between themselves and Ailda Moore and Hilda Mix. Perfect Man, and that beats Banagher. So racing towards the third, Sight Nor Seen will have an advantage over it as Master of the Malt was just steadied back into second place. Ailda Moore took it in third. Hilda Mix just landed a bit flat-footed over that, just given a chase along by David Bass. On the outside of that beats Banagher and Perfect Man as they climb up past us. And out in the lead, it is Sight Nor Seen, who's setting a brisk pace here. Still a long way to go, pressing on by 3 lengths. From in second, Master of the Malt. Ailda Moore is a clear third. Hilda Mix has been pushed back into a clear fourth as they race towards the crossfight. That beats Banagher and Perfect Man are in no hurry as they race on towards the next flight, which is number 4. So the field getting strung out here, courtesy of a solid pace being set by Sight Nor Seen, who's being constantly sent on by Aaron Anderson as a lead of 3 lengths over Master of the Malt as they're about to head towards the first down the back. 5 lengths to Ailda Moore, 3 to Hilda Mix. That beats Banagher, moves forward and means that Perfect Man is the back marker as the leader was into the bottom of that. As a result, Sight Nor Seen's advantage has been trimmed to a length. And at the back of the field, we're pulling up is Hilda Mix. Hilda Mix just eased out of it and I'm afraid has been injured. And so Hilda Mix is out of the contest. I'm afraid that injury doesn't look good as they race on down towards the next. Sight Nor Seen has the advantage. From in second place, Master of the Malt, just 5 that remain. Ailda Moore with Perfect Man, and that beats Banagher. And all 5 of those are over safely as they make their journey on towards the next flight of hurdles. So still a long way to go. Sight Nor Seen having the advantage. Second place, Master of the Malt. Those 2 remain at the head of affairs as they leave the back straight. Perfect Man has made good ground up on the outside of Ailda Moore, and that beats Banagher as the field just begin to compact now as they climb uphill for the second time. Sight Nor Seen leading by a length. Second place, Master of the Malt. 2 lengths to Ailda Moore. 4th place is Perfect Man, and that beats Banagher, still just held on to by Jack Hogan as they prepare now to turn downhill and race on towards the first of the 2 in the home straight. So reaching the halfway stage of this Figures.bet independent family-owned bookmaker handicap hurdle, Sight Nor Seen is over in the lead. Master of the Malt in second, Perfect Man on the outside of Ailda Moore, and still that beats Banagher is the back marker, and they're on the descent now towards the 8th flight of hurdles. Sight Nor Seen continuing to cut out the running, but the chasing pack becoming a little closer and a little more compact as well. As in second place, Master of the Malt continues to give pursuit, but Ailda Moore, the grey and the white jacket, Perfect Man in the red on the outside, and that beats Banagher, are both considerably closer now. And it's only about 5 lengths first to last. So the field are well grouped, head out on their final circuit. Sight Nor Seen has the lead, Master of the Malt only 3/4 of a length away. Ailda Moore in third, that beat Banagher on the inside of Perfect Man. So turning left-handed, 5 flights of hurdles still to take, just less than 1 complete circuit now to travel. Sight Nor Seen trying to press on again, Master of the Malt in second. Ailda Moore, that beats Banagher, and Perfect Man fanning out for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Sight Nor Seen over the next flight of hurdles, which they all take well. In second place, Master of the Malt, they just stretch on again by 3 lengths, still a long way to go. Grey horse is Ailda Moore, and on the outside, Perfect Man, and that beats Banagher, and the pace is increasing again. Aaron Anderson got a breather in, but the others now just beginning to close again, notably Master of the Malt on the approach to that, and jumps up nearly alongside. Ailda Moore is in 3rd place, that beats Banagher, and Perfect Man, 4th and 5th, but still well in touch. Racing towards 3 from the finish, but they're still a considerable way from home. Out in the lead, Sight Nor Seen, but now Master of the Malt is making progress. Ailda Moore seemed to switch wide. I think the leaders nearly went the wrong way there, and that's the reason that Ailda Moore will move to the right. They were in danger at one stage, I think, of just moving off the racing line. As Sight Nor Seen is rejoined by Master of the Malt, Ailda Moore in 3rd place, Perfect Man in 4th, and that beats Banagher. I think they had some ideas of whether or not they were going to jump that flight of hurdles. As out in the lead, Master of the Malt has taken over. Master of the Malt from Aildar Moore in the grey in second place. That beats Banagher, now beginning to try and improve in company with Perfect Man. Sight Nor Seen is now beginning to drop back through the field. Master of the Malt is asked to try and kick on. Aildar Moore in second. That beats Banagher, moves through into third place in the hooped colours. Head of Perfect Man. The pace has picked up notably on the descent towards the second last flight of hurdles. Out in the lead, Master of the Malt, pressed by Aildar Moore the grey, and that beats Banagher in the hooped colours. They're the first 3 over 2 from the finish. They've moved on now from Perfect Man. Long run down towards the last. That beats Banagher on the right-hand side in the noseband and cheek pieces. In the centre, Master of the Malt, and on the left-hand side, Aildar Moore. They've moved on now from Perfect Man as they still head down towards the last. 3 of them separated by very little. That beats Banagher. Just being eased to the front now by Jack Hogan on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, Aildar Moore. Won't be too much in it at the last. That beats Banagher, is over in the lead. Has a length in hand. Now a length and a half from Aildar Moore in second place. Then behind these, Master and Walt, and that beats Banagher. Is coming away. Chance ride for Jack Hogan, and moved into the race nicely and has won with a little bit in hand here. That beats Banagher. Wins for Ben Haslam, Jack Hogan and JP McManus. Aildar Moore was second. Master of the Malt was third. Fourth goes to Perfect Man. Last of the 5 to finish. Sight Nor Seen.
Yeah, that was a...
So Perfect Man, the fix, nowhere to be seen. This is how it goes. I'm going to stick with them. Yeah, kind of quite strong. This is the second lay bet of the day. Concetto, I would say, mind you, it's going for a 3-timer win. Still dangerous, but 2, 4, 9. Yeah, it's in the signal of a loser on lay bet. So, and that's a good strong lay bet, that. So she'll get about 10 to 1 for that. So we're going to have Concetto to lose. Our second lay bet of the day. Latitude on the win, so that's all we can do. We can't each way 2 to 1. Strong each way, tied times. We're paid out on first and second in this race.
Using ice rates for the blood pressure and trying to come up with an ice rate kill, getting up the air. Because ice rates are in your body, including natural pizza, which lowers your blood pressure. I kid you not. So all these people tell me ice rates are there. This is based on the new information. Kismet, here's the good strong does either way. You know, if 2 glasses of poison naturally in the body with spiritual fasting starvation, would that mean that ketogenic diet stimulates sickness? So fasting is not sickness, more sickness. Starvation is just a word that means the absence of food. That is also more sickness. So, human beings have been experienced with fasting and starvation for millions of years. Our bodies actually need to use that enzyme to prepare and regenerate cells and tissues and organs in the body. There's nothing about fasting similar to sickness. It's good question. Notice, we talked about yesterday with hypertension. Last week, she didn't put me on medication or anything that's to do. Well, the first thing you should do is use it home. Sit down and relax for 10 minutes at least. Quiet on the chillax. Check your blood pressure. Twice a day, it's very common in the doctor diagnosis of hypertension in the office. They didn't check your blood pressure. Okay? There's many different ways that you can mess up your blood pressure. And I'm working on a video about this. It'll be out sometime next week. It's a proper way. And I want all you guys to start yelling at the doctor at the nurse at the doctor's office if they don't check your blood pressure properly. Because you can't call that hypertension. You didn't do it. They rushed you in, stitched in, they asking you questions while they were checking your blood pressure. If they check your blood pressure in your clothes, if your feet were flat on the floor, so if your legs are crossed, if your leg, all these things raise your blood pressure. I mean, you know, the certain thing. Yeah, that's exactly how I treat every person every time. Yeah. That's going to give you a falsely high blood pressure. If the blood pressure cup is too small for you, it's going to give you a falsely high rate. Many doctors have forgotten this. Many nurses have forgotten this. They're busy trying to get people in and out. But that's not your problem if they're running behind. It is the problem if you get diagnosed with hypertension incorrectly. Because then you have to chart and never going to be found this lesson. So we want you to use hypertension for the next.
Right, guys. Yeah, not the best of days because of the grounds and everything. What can I say? No all weather to boost our profits. So let's hope those reverse gambles comes in at a nice price shortly. So this race might be still running. I just have to answer the door, and these are the things that takes me away. Every time I turn away from the market, there's always a big gamble lands.
First figure out jumped by Tide Times there. Head to the Stars and Job's Green Lad on the extreme right. This fence brings them to the end of a circuit. Concetto long, but got quickly from one side to the other. Approaching fence 10, he and Latitude remain the leading duo. Latitude just ahead of Concetto. Couple of lengths away to Tide Times, and then First Figaro. Head to the Stars in the orange and green, the Nixon Silks. Job's Green Lad in the yellow and green. Here's the water. Latitude and Concetto were good there, and Job's Green Lad wasn't. Paddled his way over it there. In last place, cost him a length or two. One more circuit ahead of them. Scheduled to jump further 8 fences from here on in. Concetto has the rail. Heading off behind the clubhouse once again. Can't see off the attentions of Latitude. They've been the leading pair from a relatively early stage. First Figaro led them briefly over the opening fence, and he's now quite content to dispute third with the grey Tide Times. Head to the Stars, turns down the back, very much in touch in 5th place. He's got Job's Green Lad at his quarters last of the half dozen. 4 lengths would cover them. Heading towards the first down the back. This is fence 12 coming up. Latitude on the far side of Concetto. And again, Latitude very good there. A bit quicker than Concetto, just half length his rival. Tide Times and First Figaro are next. Another plain fence before the penultimate ditch. Again, Latitude swift through the air. Head to the Stars, tickling the top on that occasion. First Figaro slightly lost his position, falling back through the field, over the ditch. Latitude narrowly to Concetto. Job's Green Lad, not very high there, and is asked to concentrate a little more as they head now to the final fence on the far side. They're more strung out than they were. First Figaro's toiling, and Latitude and Concetto press on. Latitude by over 2 lengths on landing there to Concetto. The great Tide Times jumping out to his left, but in third, ahead of Job's Green Lad trying to recover his poise after that blunder. Head to the Stars, last but one, being bustled along. First Figaro last of all, and Latitude leads them down the side of the course. They're deep inside the final half mile now. The last line of fences up the home straight to jump. Latitude and Alex Edwards by a couple of lengths. Concetto being urged along now by Henry Brook in second. Tide Times is hanging on in there, the grey in third, with Job's Green Lad in fourth. Head to the Stars in fifth, and lastly First Figaro, the only one who's completely out of touch, you'd say, as Latitude is kicking on off the final bend. He stretches his lead, goes half a dozen lengths clear, 4 out, long there, but over quickly to Concetto. The grey Tide Times on the right, then Job's Green Lad, and Head to the Stars. Here's 3 out. Latitude over with a 3 to 4 length advantage over Concetto. Head to the Stars, a serious blunder back in fifth. Latitude not doing an awful lot in front, pricking his ears, runs down the fence. That was 2 out, still with a 3 length lead over the nose banded Concetto. Tide Times mustering only the 1 pace at this stage, and it's Latitude from Concetto. The final fence coming up. Latitude big and bold, extending his lead now, it seems, over Concetto and then Tide Times, and Latitude is simply pouring it on, remorseless here from the front. An assured round of jumping, and it's going to be a local.
Yeah, so there's one of the rare win bets that I make. Concetto lost, so we got 10 to 1 on the lay bet there. Latitude won at 2-1, and just because there wasn't 7 runners, we didn't get placed on the strong each way tag times, which, to be fair, was third method bet after these two. So no surprise if there'd have been 7 runners, we would have collected on the third each way there. But you gotta, well, let's say you gotta put them in. I didn't put that earlier one in, the strong each way that won at 9-1. But if you follow the codes, every code and method bet wins overall at the end of the week. Now, like today, the first bet could have walked away and not have to play again. 40-1 winner. You know, it's your choice. As long as you walk away with a decent profit, then, you know, as long as you're not starting on a day where, if we hadn't have had that 33-1 winner, we would have been chasing losses so far. But the profit will come from each method. Trust me. The only thing is, when you're chasing the reverse gambles and the reverse gambles don't come in, then that takes a lot out of the day on your other profits, if you understand what I'm saying. So, if you're playing the reverse gambles, you're absolutely going to have more losses in between. Today, yeah, hit a winner. There was a reverse gamble on the live shows that I missed that would have put you into a level balance on your bank. Not really in profit yet on the reverse gambles. Maybe the reverse gambles aren't signal today, but you know what? There's a long time to go yet. This is where it all gets interesting, because we're going into big, deep handicaps. I can't be bothered to read this race again. I'll just give it a quick look, see if there's anything's changed dramatically. So a lot of the races we can get well before the off, but when those live shows come, that's when I need to see, read the market and make sure there's no sneaky last minute big gamble in there, because that's when they get past us, and that's the difference between profit and loss. So 420 Chepstow should be off. This is an interesting one. Let's listen.
You know, in a handicap where you know, you obviously can make out cases there for a lot, I thought he was about as reliable as you're going to get, so I thought he was a fair each way price.
Okay, they're going to be moving into line in just a moment. Just a line on Cork, where Jump the Shark 7-4 at 425, 130 for Killing Your Last, Kingston Kids 7, 17-2 Jake Stream, 10s and bigger the rest, Andy?
Yeah, quickly, I'll go with the market there as well. You know, Jump the Shark ran nicely at Fairy House last time in a better race than this. He's got a nice profile. Don't see the ground being too much of an issue, so yeah, he'd do for me there.
And again, they will jump at Cork during Chepstow. Make sure your bets are on. We're off to Chepstow.
Furlongs, 18 fences to jump, and a short run down to the first with, on the inside, Galop du Bosque, and towards the outside, Tudor's Treasure. The first two to rise. Ballybreen is fairly handy in third, along with Imperial Hurricane down on the inside. They are the first four as they jump fence number 2. They were followed over by Adventura in 5th place, half a length in advance of Imperial Joe. The grey is Jean Genie, 2 lengths up on the red jacket of William Philo, and that one matches strides with Via Dante. Another 2 lengths further back, racing next up is Patient Owner, Walk in My Shoes, already being ridden along by John Joe O'Neill Jr. towards the outside in green and purple. Tracking those, Mr. Katanga, spot the orange cap 3 deep next to Salma Debois. Red and white on the inside of those is Rock of Star, and King's Krakatara is last of the 15 runners. If they've now settled down, having jumped the first 2, and coming to the home straight and towards fence number 3. And it's Galop de Bosque and Charlie Price, with the lead by about a length and a half to the yellow of Tudor's Treasure, the 12-year-old towards the outside. Ballybreen next to him. Imperial Hurricane with a big leap landed in fourth on the inside. Jean Genie and William Philo next up with Imperial Joe. Adventura's racing wider out in pink and green colours from Via Dante. They're already covered in mud, that second wave, as they're all over the ditch. Then Rock of Star, Jamie Moore hard up against the inside, ahead of Patient Owner, Salma Debois, Mr. Katanga, King's Krakatara, and Walk in My Shoes as they come over fence number 5. King's Krakatara a bit ponderous towards the back of the field, and now the clear back marker on just her 7th racecourse appearance, and the leaders already at the next plain fence. And over that one, Galop de Bosque on the outside of Imperial Hurricane, who's towards the far rail. On the extreme left is Tudor's Treasure, Ballybreen in black and white between horses, and Jean Genie up there as well, although Galop de Bosque was a little bit awkward jumping that one and has surrendered his front rank position as the field come past the stands with a circuit to go. And Imperial Hurricane on his chasing debut towards the inside rail. Galop de Bosque reassuming his prominent position after that slight mistake in the orange and blue with a white cap. Tudor's Treasure on the outside. Ballybreen is racing then in 4th place with Jean Genie between runners. William Philo on the inside. He has got a white face, but it's increasingly mud spattered. He's next to Imperial Joe and Adventura, who turns the corner in 8th position. Towards the outside of those is Mr. Katanga, who won here last year by 47 lengths, and he's making a bit of ground for Sean Bowen around the outside. And then we have Patient Owner, Walk in My Shoes, just been bumped along once again as Adventura's losing his position and drifting back through the field. Salma Debois and then King's Krakatara as they head off on towards the far side and towards fence number 8. Adventura is now the back marker and being ridden along quite firmly. Up front it's Galop de Bosque though, into the wings of the next, from Imperial Hurricane towards the inside as they stream over. Back in 3rd position towards the outside, Tudor's Treasure. Ballybreen, Jean Genie, William Philo down on the inside as they jump another one. And last one over of the main group was Salma Debois. Adventura has jumped it at the back of the field, and they go straight over another with Imperial Hurricane on the inside coming to join Galop de Bosque at the head of affairs. Walk in My Shoes is now being detached from the main group. 5 or 6 lengths off them as they take the next one, and we've lost one there. Looks as though Via Dante has gone. Via Dante was a faller. Adventura was pulled up before fence number 11, and they go on towards the next, and it is Galop de Bosque, Tudor's Treasure. He dived at it when trying to come through and dispute the lead. Salma Debois wasn't very fluent towards the rear. Mr. Katanga's headway continues towards the outside as they race on towards the next fence. Ballybreen lost ground in mid-air as well, and so they race down the back straight with 5 to go. Galop de Bosque Imperial.
They are underway at Cork. We'll head there after Chepstow.
Moving up into 3rd, Mr. Katanga on the outside, Jean Genie. William Philo has hugged that inside rail throughout. He's followed by Rock of Star. Ballybreen trying to recover, having lost his position. King's Krakatara always towards the rear, but just picking off 1 or 2 rivals, including Patient Owner, who's now off the bridle, and also there's Salma Debois as well. Walk in My Shoes is also pulled up as they race to the top of the home straight. Galop de Bosque and Charlie Price has always been right in the firing line, and he turns off the home corner with a 2.5 length lead to Imperial Hurricane towards the inner. On the outside, Mr. Katanga, Imperial Joe, the red jacket of William Philo. Jamie Moore is bringing through Rock of Star, but he made a bad blunder there. Then King's Krakatara. Ballybreen is in behind those as they move on towards the final open ditch. Salma Debois, Jean Genie, and Patient Owners last of all. Over the ditch, Galop de Bosque came up again. He landed in front from Imperial Hurricane, the far side. Rock of Star recovering from that error, going off in pursuit of the front 2. then William Philo, Imperial Joe, King's Kakatara still running on. Oh, Gallup du Bosque barely took off at that one. He ploughed through it. And here's Rock of Star and Jamie Moore coming through on the near side. Imperial Hurricane back in third as they jump 2 out. Rock of Star, he landed 2 lengths clear with his ears pricked from Gallup du Bosque. Imperial Hurricane back in third, then William Philo, King's Krakatara, and then Imperial Joe at the last. Rock of Star over by 3 to Gallup du Bosque. Imperial Hurricane, William Philo trying to run on in behind those, but it's Rock of Star clear on the run to the line. He's going to win over fences here at the 5th attempt for Jamie Moore and Alexandra Dunn, and his second career win is another one here at Chepstow. Rock of Star beat Gallup du Bosque. King's Krakatara ran on late to force a photo with William Philo. Imperial Hurricane, Imperial Joe was the last to complete, and the rest pulled up.
Rock of Star wins well over at Chepstow. Let's go pick him up at Cork.
Drop back towards the tail again in company with Jake Stream and finally Killing Your Lad.
So that's another 3 down, sucking up the profits. It's no surprise because all the ground's changed everywhere because of that rain last night. This is where you just say, why bother? When you get ahead, take the profits. No, there's 3 indicators over at Ireland. I can't be bothered with that. 435 Sedgefield. There's no fix here. The favourite looks too good to oppose.
Between 60 and 90. So by the time you're 9 years old, your metabolism is like only 17%.
Alright, okay, at Sedgefield we'll go for a gold each way gamble on
That's why the old textbooks, if you remember Amazon, are being ripped up.
raise each way because of that favourite, so it might win. Right, okay, so Moog.
And this is the empowerment part. Is that when
Cool Moyne.
remember, these 4 phases in order to remove the effect of excess body fat.
Start pulling it back and make a profit towards the end of the day. Always happens. But that's quite a few that are not quite a few that are not on par with the market indicators. Today I've recorded a very poor day. Well, so far, I mean, I know it's going to pick up. Lots of races to go. Let's listen to this race. Ireland. Ireland, by the way, yeah, gold win on the favourite, so I'm not going to oppose with the strong indicators of gold each way gamble, Kingstone Kid. Here, missed it. We would have been on that because it's gold each way gamble. Strong the 8, strong the 11. Yeah, gold each way gamble is the only one of interest here. Kingstone Kid.
I thought that was a race he chucked away because he seemed to be going just as well as the winner, going down to 2 out. He just looked to his left a little bit, and the winner kind of like took a better line and jumped the last 2 a little bit straighter. More importantly, he got a vital couple of lengths as well. And given that the second horse, Jump the Shark, was closing him down, going towards the line, that could have easily made the difference. I'd say green this more than anything else with the runner-up. In those conditions, it's probably a little bit windy, and the jockey's probably not the most balanced in the saddle. All contributed to allow him to chuck it away a little bit. But well done to Killing Your Lad. Won at Thurles just the other day. He's obviously in rude health, and so is she's in rude health, and they've got a quick double.
Have indeed. Before that, at Chepstow, Rock of Star, Gallup du Bosque, William Philo and King's Krakatara, who caught the eye running on late. 7s, 40s, 72 and 33s. Rock of Star made a bad mistake up the home straight, Andy, but Jamie Moore managed to maintain the partnership, and Rock of Star was way too good.
Yeah, they've found the key to this horse. Stepping it up in trip. He was outpaced 2 runs ago when he fell unseated rider at the second last. It was a day I put him up, funny enough. It was beyond that Calgary Tiger, that horse that won at a big price at Wincanton, and went on to duplicate the form at Newbury next time. And you wonder what on earth he's been doing, running over 2 miles, given the way he won today. That was the key to him. A much more easy rhythm, a 3-mile race where they've slogged it out in the mud. And the second and the most vital component to his so-called improved form was back at Chepstow. His only other career in came at Chepstow over hurdles on soft ground. So the combination of the trip, the track, and a slightly easier race, more palatable race, has enabled him to win. I actually thought quite comfortable in the end.
Yeah, so the gamble there, Kingstone Kid only got 3rd. There were indicators on the book towards the favourites end of the spectrum on this market, so no surprise, just, well, minor profit, but I wouldn't say that as a win. More interested in is this 40 to 1 second, 420 at Chepstow. I'm going to just check that, see if it's one I've missed. Galop de Bosque, I don't remember seeing that, inputting that. Galop de Bosque, no, it's not a signal, so we're not bothered too much about that. So yeah, Gold Each Way Gamble here on Cool Moyne. Looks very good at the 4:35 at Sedgefield, and it's the 3rd lay bet of the day with Trock. So you get about maybe they offer 8 to 1 for that to lose. So we're 2 out of 2 so far. Let's make it 3 out of 3. So Trock to lose, Cool Moyne, Gold Each Way Gamble. Looks like the winner. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's what I call a very indicative strong market. And so if we were to wait for these ones, and it means me holding on, reading all day long, and just saying, yeah, go for it. So I'd say go for it on this race. Cool Moyne to beat Trock. See how it goes.
Moyne are the first 2 to show towards the 1 fence on the side of the racecourse. Excellence in 3rd with Man of the North, and Blue Hawaii is held up as they arrive at the 1st. Big lead by
poor races.
Track. Blue Hawaii just jumped out to the left, and the rider of Track, Conor O'Farrell, had a good long look behind him, as if he heard a thud. As Cool Moyne just duels slightly with Track early on. Man of the North is in 3rd place with Excellence in 4th. Blue Hawaii up in trip this afternoon is held up last of the 5. All over the 2nd. Excellence was a little slow there and just encouraged along at this early stage. The fence is coming pretty swiftly. Cool Moyne made a mistake there, and that's given Track a little bit of breathing space up front. Cool Moyne pushed back up on the approach towards the next, jumped it better. 3rd place for Man of the North. Excellence has been sticky early on, red and yellow colours, and Blue Hawaii is held up at the back as we're reaching the open ditch. Track on the inside of Cool Moyne, take it together. 5 lengths back to Man of the North. Excellence and Blue Hawaii under a waiting ride from Sean Quinlan. The first 2 have established a healthy lead here. Track with Cool Moyne jumping out to the right, and they'd be a good 8 to 10 lengths back to the remaining trio. Man of the North, Excellence, and Blue Hawaii. As Track's rider Conor O'Farrell just senses that Cool Moyne is going to continually be pushed up on the outer, just restrained slightly. There's about half a length between them. Cool Moyne has the lead, and they remain clear from Man of the North. 4th place for Excellence, and Blue Hawaii held up. So running downhill, making the turn towards fence number 7. Coolmoyne under John Kington and Track under Conor O'Farrell have a 10 to 12 length lead now over Man of the North, Excellence and Blue Hawaii, as again Coolmoyne jumps out to the right, and this time it's Man of the North who's ridden along in that chasing group. So Coolmoyne and Track come downhill, not quite as far clear as they were, over Excellence on the outside of Man of the North, and Blue Hawaii still very much held onto by the rider, last of the 5. Coolmoyne and Track, but their big advantage has been whittled away by Excellence, Man of the North and then Blue Hawaii. As again Coolmoyne jumps out to the right, and Track, by virtue of jumping straighter, regained the lead, but Coolmoyne's been a consistent pest on his outside, and the two of them once again are side by side. Third place belongs to Man of the North. Excellence pushed along. Blue Hawaii's been under restraint right from the word go, travelling strongly for Sean Quinlan, trying to save every amount of potential stamina, as Coolmoyne, passing halfway, again jumps violently out to the right. Blue Hawaii jumps to the left, and Track continues to jump straight. So Track and Coolmoyne from Man of the North. Excellence has lost ground swiftly, and Excellence is about to be pulled up, I think. He's turning left-handed, but Excellence just eased out of the contest. So Excellence out of the race, as the others take the first down the back. Track and Coolmoyne continue on their merry way with Man of the North and Blue Hawaii. Yes, again, the leaders try and just steal away. Front pair have an advantage of 6 to 7 lengths, Coolmoyne and Track. Blue Hawaii is now being sent in pursuit and jumped that really well. 3 to 4 lengths down, has moved into third. Man of the North is being ridden as they race towards an open ditch. Coolmoyne and Track with Blue Hawaii continuing to get closer on the inside. She jumped that with Man of the North. So Coolmoyne out in the lead, Track just being pushed along, and Coolmoyne is clear by 3 lengths, heading towards the third last. Jumping out to the right isn't helping the cause as Blue Hawaii nips through on the inside. Track is now backpedaling in third, and then Man of the North. So Coolmoyne out in the lead. Blue Hawaii has been the strong traveller, continues to do so as they climb the hill for the final time. Coolmoyne out in the lead. Blue Hawaii sitting second for Sean Quinlan, and they are now a long way clear from Track, who looks very weary in third. So does Man of the North, as Coolmoyne tries to run the finish or the stamina out of Blue Hawaii, and they're on the turn towards the second last. Coolmoyne out in the lead. Blue Hawaii just waiting. And check which side they're going to travel, given that Coolmoyne has jumped to the right consistently, nips through on the inside, and this will be 2 from the finish. Coolmoyne still has the lead, however, and Blue Hawaii is going to have to be shaken up to deliver a challenge as Coolmoyne, tough to pass, continues to gallop on for John Kington. On the right-hand side, Blue Hawaii now delivers the challenge and quickly moves on by. So Blue Hawaii has come to the final 100 yards before the last fence with an advantage of 2 to 3 lengths now over Coolmoyne. Then behind these is Track and Man of the North. So heading down towards the last for Sean Quinlan. Coming towards the final obstacle. Over and stays over as Blue Hawaii is coming away from Coolmoyne and Track, and up towards the line. Blue Hawaii for Chad Collier. A 50th Sedgefield success for Sean Quinlan. Wins by 5 to 6 lengths, maybe slightly more. Coolmoyne is weary in second, so is Track in third, but will hold on just for third. Ahead of Man of the North, both finishing weary.
So
Yeah,
just
Coolmoyne and
less
Track's
than money
brisk
back.
fractions there. They took each other on, Paddy, and it set it up for something to travel in behind. And goodness me, Blue Hawaii didn't half travel.
Yeah, won well in the end, and jumping was ordinary enough early doors, but
So Blue Hawaii wasn't signalled. We've got the 8 to 1 on another loser, 3 out of 3, and slight loss on the each way second Coolmoyne. 4:45, a little low. We're not going to play. Or are we? Let's have a look. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runners. So yeah, we're going to go for that to turn over this very hot favourite. Second, slight profit if we come second. Yeah, it's fixed. So the fixes are now activated. So watch this space. Now the fixes are activated. Yeah, a poor day because of the ground. Wouldn't normally play these at all when the ground changes like this. We're looking for all-weather races, and there just hasn't been all-weather races at night time for the last 2 or 3 days. And this is where we are very accurate, and the market's very accurate, and obviously the market's not going to be so accurate when the ground changes. Won't surprise if 200 to 1, 500 to 1 here. Let's have a look, because it's a maiden hurdle. Now if it was a handicap we might attempt a massive turnover. But yeah, the fix is Lunar Contact, so very interesting again. Let's have a look at the 455 at Chepstow. Novice hurdle. Okay. Means nothing on today's ground. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Buckley. Some of the trainers. Alright, okay, so we've got one of them bets where here comes the fix. Ding 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 ding. Right, this fix isn't signalled in the market at all, so I'm going to have to protect following the market. But so Lunar Contact at the low, it's about to go off. We're still in profit, massive profit of course, but the accuracy isn't there because of this ground. So let's listen to this one before I start reading the final shows on 455 at Chepstow.
Steadily at the moment. They're off. The WR Partners David Jones Memorial Maiden Hurdle and short price favourite Tighten Our Belts. Yellow Silks leads them over the opening flight. Bellamy's Girl, blue jacket rather backed off it, had a long look as they move on towards the only other flight in the back straight. And in these very early stages, Tighten Our Belts dictates to tick it off in the red and white. Bellamy's Girl recovering her poise on the flat, but again she slows up going into the flight, more markedly perhaps than the opening flight, and all the ground she made up between flights 1 and 2 she lost with interest in the air. Tighten Our Belts leading Ticket Off, and Lunar Contact, the green and white on the sleeves, a close third. Cloudy Hills and the brown and orange silks racing wide, and once again on the flat with nothing to jump, Bellamy's Girl recovers her momentum and goes back up to race in touch. So Tighten Our Belts and Tom Bellamy leading down the side of the course by a couple of lengths to Ticket Off. Double chasing Alex Edwards sitting in second. Another double chaser, Tom Cannon aboard Lunar Contact third. Cloudy Hills and Gavin Sheehan disputing fourth place with Jeff Barfoot Saunterboard at Bellamy's Girl. Heading inside the final 2 miles, take the road crossing and head towards the 3 flights which will come in sharp succession up the home straight. And Tighten Our Belts leads him despite the small field, ensuring this is going to be a decent test. Over the third fluently. Bellamy's Girl away to the left was a little bit more assured on that occasion. She didn't seem to lose too much ground in the air that time. Tight Now Belts over the 4th, ahead of Ticket Off on the right, Lunar Contact towards the left, and then Cloudy Hills and Bellamy's Girl over the 5th. Those 3 jumping soundly. Less so Bellamy's Girl in last place, landed in a bit of a heap, and she's, even at this still relatively early stage, finding it a bit of a struggle to keep up. And Tight Now Belts going along at around about 30 miles an hour or so in this small field. A circuit to cover, leading Ticket Off, and then Lunar Contact in touch in 3rd. 4-length break to Cloudy Hills, and tough work at the back of the field for Bellamy's Girl. She's just about in touch, but I don't think she's going to be that for much longer. Getting further behind the others who head to the hurdle behind the clubhouse, the 6th. Leading 3, each very good there. Slight error in 4th from Cloudy Hills, who's now beginning to toil, but is nicely clear in turn of Bellamy's Girl. And this is now seemingly, very swiftly, developed into a 3-cornered fight. Tight Now Belts has led them for a circuit, and the prohibitively priced favourite continues to saunter along in front. Ticket Off a close second, and Lunar Contact firmly in touch. The first of a pair of flights in the back straight. They've got 5 more to negotiate. Tight Now Belts from Ticket Off. Lunar Contact in touch still in 3rd. Cloudy Hills has just hopped over it. Bellamy's Girl is just hopping over it now. Going towards 4 out. Tight Now Belts. Made every inch so far. Ticket Off at the leader's quarters. Couple lengths to Lunar Contact. All 3 pretty good there. Lunar Contact shaken up on landing. Cloudy Hills just jumping it now in 4th place. Bellamy's Girl just jumping it now in 5th place. Down the side of the course they go. Lunar Contact in 3rd, coming under stronger pressure. And Tight Now Belts and Ticket Off share it now. Seemingly each travelling well, entering the last half mile. Still a long run to the 3rd last. They're beginning to leave Lunar Contact behind. He in turn is well clear of Cloudy Hills and Bellamy's Girl. And now it's a match up ahead between Tight Now Belts and Tom Bellamy, and Ticket Off and Alex Edwards. Tight Now Belts will have the rail into their home turn. These last 3 flights will come up quickly, and now Ticket Off for the first time, just being squeezed into the bridle. And Bellamy still sits quietly on Tight Now Belts, and this short price favourite is now beginning to open up and has shaken off Ticket Off in a matter of half a dozen strides as the gap's grown to half a dozen lengths. Tight Now Belts at the 3rd last. Very good there, with a lengthening lead over Ticket Off. Lunar Contact is a remote 3rd. The other 2 are having a right race for last place. Over the 2nd last, Tight Now Belts is in a league of his own, and now heads down towards the last with a commanding advantage over Ticket Off. Tight Now Belts over the last nimbly, just as assured and neat as he's been at each of the previous obstacles. Ticket Off 2nd, Lunar Contact remote 3rd. The other 2 are just at the 3rd last, and Tight Now Belts is already sauntering up the run in under Tom Bellamy for Emma Lavelle, Ona Salvo and Alex Giannini and Andrew Gemmell, and Tight Now Belts at prohibitive odds is off the mark over hurdles. Ticket Off in 2nd, Lunar Contact in 3rd, and if the other 2 jump the last, they'll complete for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, they finished in market order. Well, the first 3 have anyway there over at Ludlow. Tight Now Belts. I thought we might have a race, turning in, Paddy. That wasn't the case, though.
No, she did have a bit to do on the book Ticket Off, but she's obviously, or he, should I say, is obviously going to be better off in handicaps. And unfortunately, he's hit the crossbar for the 4th time running, but not doing an awful lot wrong. Tight Now Belts was more than entitled to win. He had some very, very strong form in the book, and mark of 122. Interesting to see maybe what the handicapper wants to do with this fella, but definitely looks on the up. And the horse at the top, possibly the lowest rated horse I think I've ever seen over jumps, 48 for Cloudy Hills.
Yeah, well, not great, is it? Particularly when you think that, what do they say? You've got to add 40 for jumps rating compared to flat rating. So if they went on the flat, be rated 8, possibly.
Wouldn't get you into a class 6 on the flat.
No, certainly not. But nice performance from the winner there over at Chepstow. We've got at Ludlow. We're off to Chepstow now for this 4:55. Got a bumper, first of 2 there. Bethca 11-4. Get Me to the Moon 9 to 2, Chosen Hero 5 to 1, 11 to 2 Strong Bell, Disco Daisy 7s with Sweet Caroline, 9 to 1 Mighty Duchess, 28s and bigger prices the rest. Tricky race to call, isn't it, Andy? I mean, bumpers often are anyway, but not only do we not have a standout form contender, we've also got a few possibly likely newcomers, and then you throw in that the ground's pretty desperate and there's been a front-running bias. I mean, there's a lot to factor in here.
I think the key, Alex, is your latter comment. Flagged it up early on in the day. Hopefully, one or two punters managed to latch onto that. Front runners have dominated. All 4 winners at Chepstow on the hurdle track have made all. Bumpers are in a little bit of a law to themselves that they don't always necessarily go to how
Okay, another loss there. Interesting. Yeah, that's typical of a ground change day. 455 at Chepstow then. I'm going to take a look at the market quickly. Strong Bell is the fix. If I can find it, 11 to 2. Not particularly showing in the market, so I do have to cover. Yeah, I wouldn't lay this favourite at all. Yeah, right, so strong each way. Give Me to the Moon. Get Me to the Moon. This is where I'm going to be too slow to input these on this read. Disco Daisy strong 2. Same again, I've just been watching some YouTube video, and so let's have a look quickly at Sweet Caroline. It's also signalled strong each way. There's no signal at all. Blue Moon Serenade, there's no signal at all. Nice Icons, no signal at all. Midsummer Loss is weak. Reverse Gamble on a National Hunt flat race, not interested. Right, so these are the ones against the favourite. If we're putting real money down, certainly be interested in Strong Bell fix. Now we are definitely in time of the fixes. So Strong Bell, I'm hoping, is the winner.
Just jumped at Chepstow then.
In second place, Get Me to the Moon. Nose banded Chosen Hero towards the inner. Yellow colours out wide of Blue Moon Serenade and Mighty Duchess between horses in green and orange. Then we have the first of the greys, who is Strong Bell, racing on the inside of the white-faced Disco Daisy. Sweet Caroline wider out again from Mary's Icon. And Beska, dropped in by John Joe O'Neill Jr., last of the 10 runners who take the turn over towards the far side. And Midsummer Lass, who's been well beaten in both of her starts so far at Extra and Wincanton, leading up over the newcomer Get Me to the Moon in second place. Chosen Hero, who made a winning start in bumpers at Wetherby, is on the inside of wider Blue Moon Serenade, and Mighty Duchess is in between that pair, and they are the first 5. Strong Bell, who finished third in the listed Henrietta Knight bumper at Huntingdon on her debut, is on the inside in the James and Jean Potter colours of white, red and green, and then wider out on the course to Mary's Icon, and they're followed by Disco Daisy, Sweet Caroline and Beska are still at the rear of the field, and he's actually detached by a couple of lengths now as they continue the run over on the far side of the course, and they're heading towards the Final 10 furlongs. And Get Me to the Moon has moved into a clear lead now over Midsummer Lass in second position in the hands of Rex Dingle. Of course, won the Midlands Grand National at Uttoxeter last weekend. His biggest career win so far. And he's got a couple of lengths on this field with Get Me to the Moon. From Midsummer Lass and towards the outside, Blue Moon Serenade. Chosen Hero, Nick Schofield still racing down on the rail, and Mighty Duchess, who was a runner-up in a point-to-point in Ireland when last seen. On a debut for Ben Case, making some progress between horses. Disco Daisy just behind those, and then Strong Bell. Bethka's first sign of forward momentum sees her move past both Mari's Icon, who's being ridden along by Micheal Nolan, and Sweet Caroline as they go into that turn. And Midsummer Lass has quickly lost her position, dropped back through the field, and despite Lucy Gardner's urgings, is losing further ground. So they leave the back straight behind them. And Mary's Icon and Midsummer Lass, the rear two, have got plenty to do. Sweet Caroline is also struggling. Bethka's also under pressure to make ground as well. And at the head of the fares, it's Get Me to the Moon. Here's Chosen Hero moving through into second place. Mighty Duchess in third. Fourth is Blue Moon Serenade. Strong Bell creeping into contention and is moved into third place, followed by Disco Daisy and then Bethka. And these have gone well clear as they race on down towards the final half mile. And it's Get Me to the Moon, who's made pretty much all of the running, but Chosen Hero moving up towards the inside and has now probably just about put her head in front. Strong Bell going off in pursuit on the far side of Disco Daisy, who's plugging on in the black and orange. So too is Bethka, as Get Me to the Moon's exertions have now seen her drop away tamely, and they race on down towards the final quarter mile, and Chosen Hero's gone for home. But Disco Daisy on debuts making ground and staying on powerfully for Joe Anderson. These two are clear of Strong Bell. Bethka's back in fourth, and Disco Daisy's taken it up from Chosen Hero with just over a furlong left to run. Disco Daisy by about 2 lengths to Chosen Hero, who's keeping on in second place. Bethka has plugged on into third, and then Strong Bell in fourth. Disco Daisy drifting over towards the far side, but clear of the field, and in the colours of Mrs. Claire Bonner for Emma Lavelle and Joe Anderson, Disco Daisy makes a winning debut. Chosen Hero in second. Bethka stayed on well from the back to be third. Then came Strong Bell, Get Me to the Moon, Mighty Duchess, and they were further clear of Blue Moon Serenade.
Finished at wide intervals, though, over at Chepstow, and it is, in the end, doing it fairly nicely. Disco Daisy, good few minutes for the Emma Lavelle team, Andy.
Absolutely, yeah. Real strong display as well. They went a real good gallop. That thing of Anthony Honeyballs that took a keen hold and eventually dropped away. Sets really good fractions. The batting was then picked up by the one I fancied, Chosen Hero, and momentarily looked like he was going to win, but then along came Disco Daisy from the back of the field and powered to the line. I think that actually might not be a bad little bumper, that, certainly based on how quick they went, and I don't think there was any fluke about the winner, so the horse had definitely got a future on the evidence of that.
About to be
my deliberate mistake, I rather forgot that, of course, this is a lady amateur rider race, so we haven't got Paddy Mullins riding Pure Notions. I just in my head when I was talking about Willie Mullins, the bumper horse, I just for some reason mentioned that Patrick Mullins would be riding this, but unless he's had a sex change, that's not going to be the case.
Exactly. Pure Notions 10 to 11, Penny Glory 9 to 4, 8 to Unarmed and Fabulous 16s and bigger the rest. You were with Penny Glory, weren't you?
Yeah, take a chance for Penny Glory. Yeah, she's got plenty of experience. She's like to be ridden wide.
Penny Glory, he likes. The system bets are Armed and Fabulous and Florence. 6-1 winner in the last. Minus the 2 other bets that didn't place. Getting bored now, a lot of energy putting into this, but this is where the winners come, so we've got to keep going. Next race, 5:10 at Sedgefield. Approaching last 1, 2, 3, 4 races. Immediately I see a fix in this race.
And it was a genuine,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not glad this for a good couple of days, because I didn't know what the right thing to do was, right? So, as we know, I left the trail in Keswick, went and did the bits and pieces that I had to do. My conundrum was this: when I first set off.
Yeah, the favourite is a Gold Gamble fix, so this is where we will make a date with the favourite.
It was going to be a mixed bag, bit rainy, bit whatever, packed accordingly. Now, despite what it looks like now, the temperatures have dropped dramatically, and when I've checked the forecasts,
So this is how it goes sometimes. I mean, you just
-5.
especially on change of ground, flogging dead horses.
And my conundrum was,
So, but
so
Cork would have been each way and the Fabulous Florence. We will follow this race.
For the lead now, emerging on the outside in the shape of Step It Out Goldie. There's still about a length between them though. Ponte Petra's back in third, and then Armed and Fabulous with Penny Glory edging closer now. Has moved into fifth, just in front of Pure Notions. A few lengths back then to Shoshone Girl and Princess of Paris. Perfect Way has dropped towards the rear with Getaway Rua, and still detached at the back is Holly Tree. So they continue on down the back straight, and Florence has gone on again by about 2.5 lengths as Ponte Petra regains second on the outside of Armed and Fabulous. And then Step It Out Goldie, who's still there on the outside, followed down the back straight by Penny Glory and Pure Notions, and then a gap of about 5 lengths to Shoshone Girl. So continuing on their journey now inside the final 3/4 of a mile. Florence from Ponte Petra, Armed and Fabulous, Penny Glory and Pure Notions coming right back into it again under a tight hold from Jody Townend. Wider on the track is Step It Out Goldie, who's now racing in 6th position, and these are pulling further clear of the remainder, who are headed by a ridden along Princess of Paris. Getaway Rua is just starting to make some inroads further back, but the front group of 6 very tightly bunched. Only about 2 lengths would cover them as they prepare to swing in. Armed and Fabulous, Pure Notions, Florence on the inside has now been headed, with also right there Penny Glory as they straighten. Florence has given way as now Pure Notions over on the inside shows just about in front. Penny Glory coming wide with Step It Out Goldie, and just in behind these is Armed and Fabulous as they race on now towards the final couple of furlongs. Pure Notions in trouble now, has dropped back to 5th as Penny Glory takes over. Penny Glory from Armed and Fabulous with Step It Out Goldie battling away in between horses as they race now to the final furlong or so, and Penny Glory the leader from Armed and Fabulous with back in third Step It Out Goldie. They're clear of the remainder, headed by Ponte Petra. And fresh from his winner at the Cheltenham Festival, John Kiley is going to strike again here. Penny Glory is the winner under Maxine O'Sullivan from Armed and Fabulous. Step It Out Goldie back in third, and home in fourth, Ponte Petra.
Well, if you've been following Andy today at Chepstow and at Cork, you'd be forgiven for just thinking it's the same race that we've watched over and over again, because at Chepstow the front runners have won, and at Cork you've had to challenge widest of all, and it's been fairly repetitive, Andy, really, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, trying to find winners that will slot into the hole that you want is the key. I mean, it's all well and good talking about form beforehand and trying to find the best horse, in the conditions. But if you haven't got a jockey that's switched on and puts your horse exactly where you want to be putting it, it makes not one absolute jot of difference. Luckily, we've dropped on a few at Chepstow.
So there you just heard the experts say about the ground. We got money back on that one, 8-1 for a second. No love lost on Armed and Fabulous.
Particularly with this section of the game.
See if we can pull it back in the last 3 races.
I think Gaffer's done this one over here, they've done him, and then Apprentice has been like, well, I'll do this one, mate. You've seen me do it thousands of times, Dad. I'm going to trust you and you can do this one. He's done it, but
Gaffer would have been like, that's not quite right, but knowing that we do it again, it's time is money, we've got others to do, so I'll let you off. But and it's like, no, they're only just ramblers, aren't they? We know, guy. And I'll start to raise awareness and put eyes on work, shoddy work like this, and soon there'll be nowhere to hide. Yeah, that's just it. Truth. It's just spitting bars.
Yeah, spitting bars. Interesting. Right. Sorry, I'm just watching, following a guy that's camping through, I think he's in Yorkshire Dales. He's a Yorkshireman. He's very funny. Says, I've got my house on my back, just like a snail. Right, okay, let's just, we're not going to change his mind on the 510, no matter what happens. Yeah, the fix of the day, it's a gold win gamble, is Horn Cape. The only other one I see as a danger is Couldn't Give Her Monkeys.
Handicapper has given them a couple of pounds back off that last run, or £3, and now Jack Hogan is going to take a further 5 off, so looks far better treated now. And the fact that Lovin Jukebox is as short as he is in the market tells you that this is a pretty ordinary race, to be honest here, and fair play to Ben Haslam. He could get the double up on the card. Rainbow Jet could obviously be the interesting one, back after a little bit of a break, wind being done, and John Mackey's mare, she knew how to pick up a bit of prize money on the level. She's operating here off a mark of 84, so she could definitely be dangerous, but the market is telling us, I think, that Connections are happy with Horn Cape's mark today to give Connections a double.
Horn Cape 13-8, 130 Edgar Allan Poe, Lovin Jukebox 7-2, Rainbow Jet 9-2, Couldn't Give Her Monkeys 12s, Robin Goodfellow 25 is about to be sent on their way for the 5:10 over at Sedgefield. It's their finale. We've still got 2 more to come from Ludlow, 1 more from Chepstow, 1 from Cork as well. Over at Chepstow, by the way, Disco Daisy 6-1, Chosen Hero 5-1, Bethka 11-4 favourite back in 3rd. Before that at Ludlow, tighten our belts, 130 on, beat Ticket of at 9-2. Before that at Sedgefield, Blue Hawaii beat Coolmoyne 9-2 and 11-4. We're almost set though here at Sedgefield for the closer.
So everyone's coming out onto the racecourse for our final event of the afternoon. Edgar Allan Poe, Robin Goodfellow and Horn Cape are the 3 that are leading them out.
Priorities of this hike, and things have changed. It's no longer about getting to the start line.
Starting point midway down the back straight, just 1 flight of hurdles on the first circuit in the back.
He's getting back to Ambleside and completing the loop.
He's about to spin around and head back towards the starter.
It's a mixed bag, innit? Because obviously it's sort of like 2 hours this hike. We'll never really do it.
Thanks, the owner. Yep, flag is raised for our last contest. Kept time pretty well today. 6 runners being called forward. So flag is raised again, and the runner's about to approach the starter for the final time this afternoon. All this MW Paving and Groundworks Novices Handicap Hurdle over 2 miles and a furlong. Still a little way back, and no one's that keen, it appears, to set off with much purpose. So it's taking a while at a walking pace for them to approach. And they're off. Racing them for the final time this afternoon, Edgar Allan Poe on the inside of Robin Goodfellow. The grey Horn Cape is a little wider out as they head towards the first. The white face of Loving Jukebox, Couldn't Give Her Monkeys, is next. In company as well with Rainbow Jet as they've taken the solitary flight of hurdles in the back straight. The pace is not that strong. The field are well grouped as a consequence, as Edgar Allan Poe, out in the lead, has a narrow advantage over Robin Goodfellow in the stripes with the noseband and Horn Cape in the McManus hoops. That's the grey horse. Those 2 dispute 2nd place. 4th is Loving Jukebox. Couldn't Give Her Monkeys racing in 5th, and Rainbow Jet is on the inside. Those last trio actually just about in line as they now make the turn and begin to run downhill, another left-hand bend before they encounter the second. Edgar Allan Poe cutting out the running from Robin Goodfellow in second place. Horn Cape just lost a length round the turn, the grey horse in third, with Loving Jukebox on the outside of Rainbow Jet, and Couldn't Give a Monkeys as they reach the second will be last to rise, but the field only covered by around about 3 to 4 lengths. Testament to the fact we're still going only a steady gallop as they run downhill. Now out in the lead, it is Edgar Allan Poe, who has the advantage, and that advantage is now 2 lengths from Robin Goodfellow. Horn Cape, and up on the outside, Loving Jukebox, who's made a little bit of ground on the descent, the horse with the white face and the noseband. And behind these, Rainbow Jet, Couldn't Give a Monkeys, as they've all jumped that flight of hurdles perfectly okay. So making their way out past us with a circuit to travel, Edgar Allan Poe, largely unhassled on the lead here, for Tom Midgley, has the advantage by a length. Horn Cape moving back up on the outside of Robin Goodfellow. And Loving Jukebox on the outer of Rainbow Jet, and Couldn't Give a Monkeys is still last of these 6 well-grouped runners who make their journey down the side of the racecourse, heading on towards the 4th. Edgar Allan Poe having the advantage. In second place is Horn Cape as they rise at the 4th. Good lead by the leader. Also angled towards that inside turn, and as a result got a couple of lengths. Edgar Allan Poe over Robin Goodfellow. Loving Jukebox round the outside of Horn Cape. Behind these, Rainbow Jet, Couldn't Give a Monkeys first in the back straight. Bit of progress being made by Loving Jukebox to move into second place as Edgar Allan Poe continues to lead. Loving Jukebox now a clear second. Horn Cape, Robin Goodfellow, and towards the inside, Rainbow Jet. Towards the outer in the red colours, Couldn't Give a Monkeys, but they remain well clustered. Completed a circuit, and they have 3 flights of hurdles to take. One in the back, so approaching now. Loving Jukebox on the outside of Edgar Allan Poe, and Loving Jukebox moves through the field, has just increased the pace slightly. Making ground on the inside, Rainbow Jet in the purple colours, stripes of Robin Goodfellow, and the hoops of Horn Cape. And round the outside, Couldn't Give a Monkeys now begins to try and press on as well in the red colours. So Edgar Allan Poe and Loving Jukebox are the first 2, the other 4 in pretty close attendance. Notably Rainbow Jet, who's made ground on the inside to move into third. And behind these is Horn Cape pushed along. Couldn't Give a Monkeys made ground rapidly, but is now beginning to lose it once again. Robin Goodfellow still just in touch with the leaders, who are making the turn back towards the second last. Edgar Allan Poe was pressed but not passed at this stage by Loving Jukebox, then to the inside Rainbow Jet, and now Horn Cape is also emerging on the scene as well, the grey horse, as they take 2 from the finish. Edgar Allan Poe being pressed on the outside by Horn Cape for Jack Hogan, and between runners, Loving Jukebox is still there as well, but Horn Cape, rather shades of the earlier winner, has been produced on the run down towards the last pretty smoothly here by Jack Hogan, and heads down towards the final flight with an advantage of 3 lengths over Loving Jukebox and Edgar Allan Poe. Horn Cape at the last, jumps it big and well. Glance over the shoulder, we'll see the race is seemingly in safekeeping, and certainly so as Horn Cape begins to pull further away. So Horn Cape, good day for Jack Hogan, stepped in at short notice for Kevin Brogan, and he's going to ride a double. Horn Cape for Ben Haslam completes his own double. The long protracted battle between Loving Jukebox and Edgar Allan Poe saw them finish in that order from Robin Goodfellow, Rainbow Jet, and Couldn't Give a Monkeys.
It certainly has been a good day for Jack Hogan, who's managed to ride 2 winners hard on the steel, really, Paddy. I'd like to say that I could have ridden them, but that probably wouldn't be the case. I think he's managed to just get horses in the right position as well. They've really travelled for him today, and he's not had to ask them to extend, possibly because of that to start with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and well placed as well by Ben Haslam. This is definitely one of the younger inmates that he trains in the McManus colours. Only a 6-year-old. They tend to be 10-year-old plus that Ben gets for the Haslam team. But honestly, this track especially, they absolutely clean up in these colours, and I definitely thought the handicapper dropping this chap to 98 off the back of that latest effort, and Jack's further 5 off, 93 today was far more suitable, and he looks a horse that would stretch out even further, and that was better from Loving Jukebox. I mean, his first go in a handicap, he didn't really, on what he'd shown, look that well handicap off 91, but there'll be days further ahead for him. But yeah, job done. Not really sure. I didn't realise it was a jockey change, so unlucky for Kevin Brogan, but Jack Hogan is very able deputy.
Certainly is. That was over at Sedgefield. That was their finale. SPs will be through in just a moment. In fact, they're through now. Horncape 7-4 favourite has beaten Loving Jukebox into second at 7-2 in the 5-10. Ludlow, Chepstow, Cork, and then another trip to Ludlow to round things off today. And Ludlow's 5:20 runners are making their way down to the start. We'll have to get picks from Chepstow and Cork, actually, hot on the heels of this, because for the first time today, they are going to all run into one another. At Ludlow, Duke of Moravia is 2-1, 5-2 for Amron Sage, No Tango 4s, 5-1 Spring Meadow. What's Up With You, 15-2, 40s for Your Band over at Ludlow. They go without the 5 later. Paddy, this is a decent little contest, really, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad at all, Dunny. And Amron Sage, I should say, was definitely a bit of an eye catcher at Sandown the last day. Just got the last all wrong, and there could definitely be a mileage in this chap off a mark of 1:15. But you know, the bulk of these are pretty consistent. Although What's Up With You, he's a 9-year-old. He's holding his form very well. Ben Pauling and Luca Morgan continue to have plenty of winners between them. Spring Meadow for Jordan Naylor, another son of fame and glory, who's trucking along quite nicely, but handicapper might just know enough about him off 118. But I thought the horse down the bottom was definitely a bit of an eye catcher here, Duke of Moravia. They're stretching this boy out and trip here today, and although he was beaten Fav last time, we've not seen him since. You know, that was nearly 3 months ago. So Henry Daly, he's not rushing this horse, and Harry Cobden on board, should I say. It's good to see him getting some more outside rides, and I think this 5-year-old has got a good opportunity here. So I'll take Duke of Moravia here, albeit he's not been missing the market, has he?
No, certainly not. 2-1 at the head of affairs, and it is a decent race. I thought What's Up With You was overpriced at 7-1. And certainly older than a lot in this race, but it's got bits and pieces of form. And Andy, you mentioned earlier you like Amron Sage at Ludlow.
I do, yeah. I just been mindful of him in the early stages. He pulled very, very hard at Sandown. The one thing he hasn't done today, he got sweaty beforehand. They put a hood on him today beforehand in the prelims, which wasn't the case at Sandown. And he was in a muck sweat down at the start of the Esher track. And during the early part of the race, he just would not settle. He would not drop his head. How he was still there, travelling well, turning for home, is just testimony to his ability. If he settles today, there's no doubt in my mind that he's a really well handicapped horse. He will win off 115 when things go his way. But a lot depends on him switching off early, giving himself a chance to relax into the race. If that is the case, then I think he's good enough to win this. But obviously, you'd have to be respectful of Henry Daly's horse, who clearly is also well fancied off his mark as well. A really nice race to end on here. Oh, they've got a bumper, but as far as we're concerned, regulation-wise, we have a hurdle. This is a pretty hot handicap for the track, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, good race coming up at Ludlow. The flag is raised, so last call for bets. We'll try and get a word on Chepstow after this Ludlow race. Queen Annie is 6-4 there, 130 for Edmund. 6 isn't bigger the rest. We will head to Chepstow and then to Cork off the back of Ludlow, but we'll go and take the call at Ludlow now. They're about to be dispatched.
In they come steadily. Well, they're off for the EFG Harris all-day handicap hurdle. Spring Meadow coaxed along to jump away with the others at the rear of the field early as they take the opening flight, which they've all handled with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Your Band, last but one, needed chasing along on landing, and Duke of Moravia, Gray, has put his head in front as they approach the second, to Amron Sage in a raw blue jacket. What's Up With You in the white cheek pieces. Your Band in the middle of the pack, dark jacket with the white sleeves. No Tango closer to the rail in the purple and green, and a couple of lengths away too. Spring Meadow is Duke of Moravia under Harry Cobden. That leaves them out of the back straight for the first time. To Amron Sage and What's Up With You widest of all. And then No Tango on the inner of Your Band. And Spring Meadow, who wasn't entirely cooperative on the way to the start. It's tucked in at last place. Just having a little bit of a look around him as well, flicking his ears backwards and forwards. They've completed more than half a mile now. Duke of Moravia leading on the lengthy run between flights 2 and 3. With Amron Sage closest to him. They're well tucked up in behind. Although in last place, Spring Meadow needs a little of Early encouragement, little hustling along from Jordan Naylor just to get him to concentrate. Duke of Moravia turns in ahead of Amron Sage, and What's Up With You away to the right. No Tango, Purple Jacket towards the left. Your Band in the middle of the pack, the dark blue and red with the white sleeves. And Spring Meadow, I'm afraid, really isn't concentrating. And shifting out to his left there is making it quite hard work at present for...
Quite a strong favourite here. The 525 at Chepstow. Ned Fox, Sean. Oh yeah. Strong bet here. Yep. Looks good. Right, if we were to pick one out, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? 50 to 1 shot coming up. Potentially.
Ambry, Hazel Bank, Numa, Country House Hotel. Oh, that's beautiful, mate. I know, you know. On a it's slightly.
Looks like we're going to have a pick up.
In a different way.
Get rid of some of them losses on this one. Yep. Just have to put these potential. Just listen to this race while I do it.
Half dozen. So heading to the end of a circuit, Duke of Moravia has a slender lead over Amron Sage. What's Up With You? No Tango on the near side of Your Band, and Spring Meadow a couple lengths away. This is 5 from home. Duke of Moravia by less than a length to Amron Sage. One more to jump over on the far side, and then that very long run back towards home. Duke of Moravia, Amron Sage. No Tango. What's Up With You? Wider out. Your Band in close touch in 5th place, only 3 lengths off the lead. And then Spring Meadow, who remains just about in touch, but once again carries his head at an awkward angle and is in last place still as they turn on down the side of the course with just 3 to jump from here on in. Duke of Moravia and Harry Cobden. To Nico de Boinville and Amron Sage at the leaders' girths. And then What's Up With You and Luca Morgan wide. No Tango has cut every corner so far. Purple Jacket for Paul O'Brien disputing 3rd place. Your Band up between horses in touch, and Spring Meadow hasn't lost any further ground, but he hasn't really helped Jordan Naylor make up too much ground either. And again, he's carrying his head awkwardly at the back of the field and is now beginning to lose touch. And I think Jordan has given up the unequal struggle on Spring Meadow and looks like pulling him up. The other 5, though, all have some sort of a chance as they round the last part of the turn and head to 3 out. Amron Sage in the raw blue now, comes upsize Duke of Moravia. What's Up With You? The white cheek piece is a length down. No Tango chasing their tails into the straight, angling for a better position. 2nd from the right. Almost 4 in a line there, but No Tango was down on his nose, made a mistake. Amron Sage now, on towards the 2nd last from Duke of Moravia on the left. A little low there, the leader. What's Up With You on the right still has a chance. No Tango boxing on. The final flight, Amron Sage held together. Got quickly from one side to the other there. What's Up With You? Challenging out wide. Then Duke of Moravia. No Tango. What's Up With You? Coming to have a crack at Amron Sage, who has to dig in under pressure from de Boinville. Amron Sage sticking at it pluckily. What's Up With You? A final thrust. Amron Sage just too good for What's Up With You. Duke of Moravia in 3rd. No Tango in 4th.
Straight to Chepstow. What do you...
No surprise there. That was a shot in the dark, wasn't it, for the fix? 40 to 1 on an outsider that didn't signal.
Got some seeds. Come back.
So.
Oh my God, can I get into the out box? If I give you a little selection, look, some seeds of the sausage roll, a little bit meat, a bit of crisps.
Okay.
Robert. You don't trust me like that, Robert. It's a trust game. No, anyway. Robbins has been following me all day. And if you don't follow me on Instagram and you want to see my Robin, you can remember that. I post every now and again. In fact, 5 hours just be all dedicated to Robin. I might set him up as an Instagram page. I just mixed up. Had me pint, the sausage roll and bag of crisps.
Interesting. Right, yeah, so we didn't fully recover, apart from those lay bets. Made a good profit on those.
There we are. It's a little bit different.
We had one that we missed at 9-1. Could have made a slight profit on that race.
I've joined the Coast to Coast app now, so I remember this.
This is what happens, you know, like this one here. We've got heavy ground at Cork.
And now we'll try and get on tops. Getting chilly now. I know for a fact.
It's no good.
It is extreme. Well, the guys that says
But I would say, oh, the great Mullins is going to have a loser here. By the looks of it, Blizzard of Oz is a lay bet. Or is it? With the 3 non-runners, market's a little bit shaky.
In Igloo, the Lanshan one. Just outside the pass.
Just gonna...
This tablet was affixed by Douglas and Michael Boyle in enduring memory of their friend and companion Gordon Howard.
Looks like the mighty Mullins is going to be beat here, so I'm going to say a 4th lay bet of the day. Blizzard of Oz, 5:30 Cork, 2 minutes away. It is a national hunt race. I'd love for the outsider. Potential reverse gamble. How many runners have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 runners, so that's probably going to come third. If it was a handicap, we would have Glory Good Tom as a reverse gamble. What we're going to do, though, is try and beat this favourite with any road on a gold win gamble. So, Cork. Let you listen to the other.
From Lady Harriet and Tintagel Queen, Guinness progress has continued into 4th, Pip away, and then came Dark Moon, Edmund trying to make ground again to the inside. They're followed through by Pearl's Legacy. Tony Astor is struggling to stay on terms with them. Gypsy Hill is tailed off. So racing on down to the final 3.5 furlongs, and Queen Annie up front from Lady Harriet, Tintagel Queen. Lewis Stones right on their heels in 3rd. Guinness in 4th. Edmund working back into it, but it's hard work for her to do so. They've moved right away from Pip away. A further break back to Pearl's Legacy, well behind those. Dark Moon as they come on down towards the final furlong and a half, and Queen Annie now being pressed by Tintagel Queen on the near side. Lady Harriet 3rd, Edmund 4, and then Guinness as Queen Annie is in front by 3 parts of a length. Tintagel Queen is launching quite a strong challenge and trying to get on terms. Queen Annie shaken up for the first time now, more strongly by Ben Bromley, and she reacts by going 2 lengths clear. Queen Annie idling in front. Tintagel Queen trying to come again on the far side, and Queen Annie rallies close. Well, Queen Annie idled in front. Tintagel Queen came to join her, and those two go past together. Clear of Edmund and then Lady Harriet.
Yeah, definitely just idling out in front there, Andy. May have got back up, but we'll need the judge to confirm.
No, I think she has got back up. Would have been a disaster if she hadn't. She thought she won, and I think everyone had backed, had a bet in the race, thought that Harry Fry's also had won. She has one gone, luckily. But clearly she was messing around and not concentrating on what she was doing in the latter stages, but she was by far and away the best horse in the race. And it's yet another one to make all the running. I think that's now 5 of the 6 winners of the that raced on the hurdle track has won.
She's talented as well. I do like her. I thought that she went through that race really, really nicely, even if she did show a little bit of, well, whatever that was at the end. We'll confirm the result shortly. They're off and racing in Ireland.
The Road is racing in 5th position through these early stages, and the maroon and white epaulets of Faraway West, the back marker of the septet, is Glory to God Tom. Turning into the home straight on the first of 2 occasions here in Picanisco. Well clear, about 15 to 20 lengths in advance now of the remainder, as the Sageberg gelding comes down the straight, going through the wings of that hurdle with a huge advantage over Blizzard of Oz, the native speaker, who's followed by Back to Normal, Any Road, Far Away West, and finally Glory to God Tom. The leader is now about a furlong from the winning post, still with this huge lead over Blizzard of Oz and native speaker, as Peking Isco is about to head out on the final lap with an advantage of 20 odd lengths over Blizzard of Oz, the two shades of green running in second. Third then for native speaker, with Back to Normal in fourth, Any Road in fifth. And then on the inside, Far Away West, Glory to God Tom remains in rear. Peking Isco now on his way across to the back straight as they come inside the final 10 furlongs in this Irish Stallion Farms EPF Pro-Am bumper. Peking Isco turns down the back, still with this big lead over Blizzard of Oz, who heads the pursuers in second. And then racing in third is Native Speaker, followed on straightening up down the back by Any Road, who's matching strides with Back to Normal, and then Far Away West and Glory to God Tom at the back. So they're heading on to the halfway point down the back, with still Peking Isco the clear leader, but the gap has been cut to about 12 lengths now by Blizzard of Oz running in second, and then Native Speaker, Any Road towards the inside, with Back to Normal, Glory to God Tom, and Far Away West. Peking Isco is getting tired now, would appear, either that or getting lonely, but either way he's coming back to them. Peking Isco now only about 8 lengths in advance of Blizzard of Oz, Native Speaker and Any Road, and then Back to Normal, Far Away West, and Glory to God Tom. All change now as Peking Isco is swallowed up and drops to the tail of the field. He's out of it as Blizzard of Oz, Native Speaker and Any Road match strides up front now, with running in fourth Back to Normal, then Glory to God Tom, a couple of lengths back to Far Away West as they come across the top, racing now to the final half mile in the concluding event on Student Day here, with in the centre Native Speaker possibly just in front now, flanked by Any Road on the inner, and on the outside, widest of all, that's Blizzard of Oz. Couple of lengths back then to Back to Normal, and Glory to God Tom, they've dropped Far Away West. Down the straight they come now to the final 2.5 furlongs. Any Road now picks it up. Blizzard of Oz is delivering a challenge. Native Speaker can't go on at this stage, back in third, and then Back to Normal as they race on now with a furlong and a half to go, and Blizzard of Oz has breezed up on the outside under Patrick Mullins to now show in front. From in second place, Any Road, they're clear of Back to Normal, who stays on with Native Speaker, but Blizzard of Oz is coasting here as they race inside the final 100 yards. Blizzard of Oz for Simon Minear and Isaac Swade. William Patrick Mullins, another father and son team on the score sheet. Blizzard of Oz wins it from Any Road. Back to Normal third.
Unfortunately,
Let's say 20 minutes.
yeah, never opposed the Mullins team.
Get the most out of the
I've learned a lesson there.
top tip, and then later top tip. It is top tip.
And for the last, it's just a Hunter's Chase. No good. Favourite Signal to win. Called each way gamble for due reward, so we'll put that in.
I guess it's not a great deal.
Potential reverse gamble, but it's not a handicap.
They just exist.
Yeah, pretty shitty day. Very shitty day. Because of the ground change, and so we'll take that as what we'll start to do is we'll take holidays when the ground changes, because it's the same, it's always the same with these things. We will try and get a due reward in the last. Looks like it's trying to follow the favourite home for a forecast.
Just to start the tarmac a little bit and then double back on the main road and left the track again. Castlewood Farm, that's where I went to try and grab me some, but it was closed. And off I carried on. Up here, again, it starts to open out here and get some lovely views. Across, over here, some lovely hiking to be done through here. And lovely views again of Derwent Water and off into the distance to Basthwaite Lake. Carry coming down here, across this little bridge in the dive book. Bit of road work to be had up here, but not too much, and we went to this woodland which was really nice. And it was just a glorious day's hiking. The sun was shining and it was ever changing, so it just kept my mind occupied. And we hit this. This was a beautiful stretch around the side of this river, plenty of beer gates to be had. All along, so we get to here. This is where I used a little bit here, because there's a little bridge, you know. I fancied the look of it, so I went over to that very square and was like, oh no, double back, a bit of a dive from up here. Back onto the tops and back to some lovely views. Again, I was so lucky with the weather, it was glorious. Now we get to here, and you're supposed to just put straight across here and keep going.
There's some chicken.
But many
Some
people
more
are
chicken.
saying
And I eat my chicken.
pint or whatever, sausage roll, and that's exactly what I did.
What are you
Lived
gonna
in
do?
there, had my dog roll, bag of chips and
You're
pint,
gonna
and then I
look
drove
at me eating my
off
chicken, then you're gonna want my chicken,
so
aren't you?
familiar territory,
Mhm.
up through Stoneflake, past camped on the coast to coast. I mean, it is uphill, but it is gradual until we get to here. And as you can see, these contour lines are really spread and they're pretty steep, so we've got a left for the day. Up onto a flat spot here, that's where I camped with some
I'm gonna
amazing
blow
vistas.
you.
Ready for the night in the Lancashire too.
Yep.
If you're not subscribed already, consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification to be notified of the next upload, and I'll see you all soon.
I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me?
The Tour of the Lake District is a 96-mile circuit starting and finishing in the popular tourist town of Ambleside. The trail takes in each of the main Lake District valleys, along lake shores, through woodland and over remote mountain passes. Join me as I take on this winter lakeland adventure with a mix of breezy wild camps and cozy country pubs. Got any lampers, drinks are pure and solid. So cold, man. It was so cold. The ice. My back looks slush puppy basically. Bust out two of these foot things and put them on my hips where I was sleeping on my side in contact with this. And that did the job, so I managed to get a bit of kick, but not a lot. Let's have a look together. Ugh. There's the moon. La moon. I tell you what, I didn't sleep good last night, like, the ground was just sapping the heat out of me. I'm thinking, why? I've been on loads of, like, winter camps and camps of snow and that. And I think maybe, I don't know, it's like the R value of my mat has dropped. I've had that mat for maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I've used it extensively. It might just be at the stage where I need a new one. And also, I didn't bring my little thin yoga mat that as well, like having a foam pad underneath your air bed. So what I had to do was, I laid out my waterproof trousers and coat, and whatever I could find, and then just laid my Osprey bag underneath it, so sort of like that. But it just gave me that little bit of distance from the ground. That was okay, so I managed to get a couple of hours. I had my merino wool layer on, and I had my down trousers on, hat and all that, and I felt warm in my sleeping bag. It was just because underneath the bit that you know when you sleeping bag, it compresses all the down, all the feathers, all the synthetics, so there's pretty much nothing there. You're relying purely on what you're lying on. And even though it's the external, it wasn't good enough. So I think it's maybe gone to shit on inside of it, you know. From occasionally I'll have to blow it in my mouth, or I have done back in the day as well, and before I got my pump. And that can make it all go a bit gammy inside, and maybe that's happened, and it's just not as warm as it used to be, so I'll put that on my little list of things to save up for, but I think I need to do that. It served me well for years. Oh, it's so bitey, you can't tell because there's no snow, but it doesn't look fun, does it? Oh, and then my water bottles are frozen, my electrolytes turned into a slush puppy. Oh. Well, I'm hoping anyway though, so I've got to take on these bogs down. I'm hoping that they're all frozen, that'll be nice. And this is full of ice again. So tonight I'm gonna have to keep lowland. I'm gonna have to. And if I do find a pub or something, come on, we're getting in it. I'm gonna be confident, like at the top about it. Look, making myself an igloo on snow. I don't care. Excuse me, can you do me a discount for the breakfast for more, please? That's like that adventure. Right, let's get this packed up, because holding this camera is doing the digits in. Come on. There we go. Leave no trace. Oh, and we're off! So, in the guidebook it was from Rossaway, which came from down there, over the top to Grasmere. Now, I'm setting off pretty early, it's about 7:10. I'm looking to get to Grasmere before noon, so mid-morning.